Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with Angel Velez, John Tortorelli, and John Carlos. Mr. Joe Dells is in Florida. He's looking at some wedding venues.
They look good.
And the man of the day, Mr. River Brown, April 16th. It's his birthday today. He's having a beautiful, lovely dinner with his family. But make sure you guys wish Riv a happy birthday. So we have John and JC here, and this is going to be a great episode because we are predicting the first round of the NBA playoffs, and maybe just by knowing Riv and Dells, we'll make their predictions for them on the show as well, because I think we know them enough to kind of know who they would pick.
That guy Riv sometimes a loose cannon. Sometimes I don't know where his head's at. Nevertheless, 28 years ago, a legend was born. Happy birthday to the GOAT. Hope you have a great day, King. Dells, wedding in Florida moves me. I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome. That being said, last thing to be said, we got blessed with the play-in. The play-in was elite basketball every single game.
Almost.
Every game. Which game was bad? The Sixers and Magic?
That's probably the only one.
I'm fine with that. But even still, like towards the end of the game, it was still competitive. Magic they just don't know how to put the ball in the hoop.
No. We'll talk about the Orlando Magic later, the play-in. Definitely a lot of great basketball that happened. Next Thursday, NFL draft party at Blue 42. Yes, make sure you guys are there early.
Reservations
Make sure you guys
thin.
are there early, okay? We want to meet you guys. It's going to be a great, fun event, watching a draft with you guys, maybe getting a couple of drinks. I haven't had a drink in a while. Maybe, I'll bust out my virginity for drinking alcohol that day with the fans. You know what I'm saying?
I can respect that.
So I've kind of been laying low. I know, John, you've been laying low on it too. So maybe you'll go out and show out and have some fun with the fans as well.
John's a modest guy. He's like,
Oh, man, John used to get crazy with them frats, man.
That white boy's in you, John.
I guess so.
But he got it all out of him. And then JC, welcome back to the show.
Yes,
He's here, and we're going to talk about the NBA and all of the playoff matchups. I'm excited to have you guys here. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I think you're right in the sense that this week of basketball was insane in the play-in tournament. The first night was incredible basketball, and it gave us a nice prelude to a hopefully amazing postseason. I'm really excited to talk about both of y'all today.
I agree with you, bro. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Adam Silver at all as a commissioner. One thing that he's done really well with is this plan. We got great basketball. And I gotta give credit to where it's due. We got some amazing games, down to the wire games with clutch performances, with great defensive performances. Like, as a basketball fan, I love it.
You know what I loved? I loved the obvious playoff dropper, John. It's obvious. Deni Avdija.
It's not the playoffs yet.
It is the postseason.
Second
most points.
They don't even track it.
It was just poetic, John. Going up against his sons and absolutely torching them, violating them. Like anything he wanted to do, done. Dylan Brooks, come out and guard. Jordan Goodwin, come out and guard. Anybody, just name it. Just name whoever. It was bag work to the cup. Filet. Listen, I know that Deni Avdija is far from your favorite player. I just hope now after this performance, just a little bit of respect. I'm not saying to make him your guy. I'm not saying to say bona fide star. Just a little bit of respect.
Nah, not yet. If he plays well against the Spurs, I will give him his respect. 100%.
It'll be hard. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and say, anytime you've mentioned the Spurs and Deni Avdija, I've been quiet. Because I'm not anticipating a good series.
Because he has been proving everyone wrong since he came in the NBA. When he was talking about it on the Old Man Threes podcast, when he fell in the draft at pick number 9 and Patrick Williams was taking over him in Chicago.
He was violating Patrick Williams,
yeah,
honestly.
Understandably so, because he should have been a top 5 pick that year. And then he goes to Washington. He's slowly breaking out, and they trade him for a first-round pick, which becomes Bub Carrington and Malcolm Brogdon. And at that point in time on that draft, and I'm like, there's no way Washington just did this. And he ascends into an All-NBA caliber player, and it was nice to see him prove why he's someone some people may be skeptical. A year and a half, 2 years ago, a lot of people weren't totally sure if this was someone who could truly lead an offense, and we're at least seeing it in that playoff environment. And it's awesome because I was frustrated. I'm not going to lie to you. I said to y'all in the chat, I couldn't believe with a minute left season is you have an opportunity to eventually submit your position in the postseason. You've got Jordan Gowen, who's 7 inches shorter than Deni Avdija, guarding him in isolation with no help because Deni Avdija absolutely torched him, and even a screen. Like, I got this. And it didn't, like you said, it didn't even matter if Dillon Brooks was on him because he had 5 fouls on the last possession.
It's like solving a Rubik's Cube.
Because he was cooking Dillon Brooks, not only in that matchup, but in their earlier appearance in the regular season. But even still for Phoenix, I was frustrated at the fact that you had a 6'3" guard.
Not him frying Dillon Brooks.
A 6'3" guard, though, on Deni in the final possession of the game blew me. Especially when they had an opportunity to Brandon Ryan Dunn.
Awesome.
Dillon Brooks. But shout out to Deni for proving himself, and hopefully he can build off of that because he's got his work cut out for him in the first round.
With every single game that happened to play in, I want to discuss the implications of what happened for the teams that lost and the teams that won.
Of course,
and
we should do this.
They moved on.
Sorry, I got a little antsy.
We'll talk about the Blazers and Suns first, but before we do that, Polymarket is a proud sponsor of the show, and you can make your predictions. It's the best time to make predictions with Polymarket because there's so much to try to predict with the NBA postseason. Right now, you can make your predictions on Polymarket. Who advances in a play-in tournament? You have the Hornets at 61%. They have the best percentage chance to advance, and I think that reflects what we feel about the Hornets and how we feel about them. The Suns are at 56%, which is not something I feel too great about, with the Warriors at 44%.
For real.
And the Warriors, with the game that Steph Curry just had and the game that Draymond just had and Porzingis, it feels like the Suns are running into the best version of the Warriors, at least health-wise, because Jimmy Butler's out, so it's not the complete best, but what they have available to them, it is the best. And then you have the Magic at 39%, and nobody really trusts them. If you want to help support the podcast, use code PAS26 for a free $20 to make your predictions on Polymarket. It helps the show a lot, but always make sure to make your predictions responsibly.
Amen.
And if you're losing a couple, just ease off of it, man. Don't dig yourself too deep into a hole.
Don't beat a dead horse.
But we're gonna make our predictions for who we think is gonna advance in the play-in. But before that, let's talk about these games. The Blazers and the Suns. I mean, of course, Deni Avdija's first step, really good. It's quick. It's deceptive. You don't realize how much of a torpedo he is driving downhill, and he played well. I mean, 41 points.
We got him, baby.
41 points is 41 points.
41!
And
41?
It's 41 points.
Bro, what? That's the most in a playoff debut.
Second most.
Who's that? Number 1, 2? Second 2?
Zion?
No,
No,
Is it
Zion's
Zion?
third.
No,
He got hurt in that
I'm
game.
telling you.
Zion had
Deni
40.
was 41. Luka with 40.
Luka had more.
Luka had 40. Luka had 40. I
Can we
sent it
stop
to you.
calling it the playoffs, though? It's the
It's the
play.
postseason.
It's the play.
I wish it was
They don't
tracked.
even track it.
It's not the regular
We
season.
remember. You're not going to forget.
Nobody's
Deni
gonna,
Avdija's playoff debut. 41. It was awesome.
Nobody will remember it if they get smoked out against the Spurs and he don't play well.
No. They're in the playoffs. Deni Avdija made the playoffs.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
As the number 1, he led a team to the playoffs.
In the Western Conference.
He's him.
Deni Avdija is a really good player. I'm still skeptical and have an eyebrow raised
He
for
really
how
made the
great he
playoffs as a
can be.
1. Wait till Dane's back next season.
But-
Demon home.
Here's why I
They
felt
go
like
7th to the 16 next year.
here's why I feel like the play-in, it messes over teams that are like the Suns that are the 7th seed and they won like what 40 how much did
44.
44 45 wins on the season. The Blazers had much less wins than them. It wasn't that big of a gap, but it was enough of a gap. I think you're trying to clarify me right now. And the Suns had a bad game. They couldn't get 3-point shots off, mostly due to how Portland was guarding them because they were staying home on Devin Booker and they were just staying home on the shooters and just guarding DBook one-on-one, and there was just nowhere to go with the ball. Phoenix all year long has been a high-volume 3-point shooting team, and they got up less than 33s, where Portland, they shot 47 threes, which goes to show just how easy they were able to get into the paint and make kick-out passes, and then they hit 17 of their threes. This is not a team that shoots well from 3 consistently in the regular season, and they just had their best game against Phoenix. And even in saying that, even in doubling the 3-point makes of Phoenix, they were down double digits with 6 minutes left. And I thought Jordan Ott, whose rotations the last part of the season have been questionable. Phoenix getting hurt was the worst thing that happened to them in the regular season.
Started scrambling.
Because when they started playing their younger players, because they were forced to, you saw, wow, Rasheer Fleming is really good. Kaman Malawach is really good. Then everybody gets healthy, and Jordan Ott just refuses to use the players that were making a big impact. Rasheer Fleming, I thought, would have did a better job than a lot of the players that were guarding Deni Avdija. I thought Ryan Dunn would have done a better job.
Yep.
The final possession, you have no rim protection against a team that was driving on you all game long. Kaman Malawach is a true 7'1" player who can protect the rim at a high level. Mark Williams can protect the rim at a high level. And even also, I think he's the weakest of those two at protecting the rim, but he's not a slouch. But he's been good defensively this year.
The best
It's like, at least put one of those guys on the floor.
Yeah.
And I thought Jordan Ott, like his brain stopped working in that scenario.
It was crazy.
It was baffling to me. And now Phoenix, they got to play the Warriors, who it feels like how they're playing, they might not get past that game. And a season in which should have been a season where we praise the Suns for how they make the playoffs, they might miss it.
They're gonna botch. They're gonna botch.
To Memphis in John Morant's rookie year, where they have a good kind of heartwarming season, and maybe they're in jeopardy of missing the playoffs, but there hasn't been a 7th seed, to my knowledge, that's missed the postseason yet in the play-in era. And honestly, for the Suns,
45 wins to 42. So you were right.
If they can, and I feel like in this game, you kind of touched on it, Joel, it really was a big loss not having Grayson Allen. I expect him to play. He was a game-time decision. Not having that three-point shooting made a difference.
He does average double digits. I mean, he's really good for them.
Listen,
yeah.
I'm not slighting Grayson Allen. I'm sorry.
And when you looked at their half-court offense towards the end of the game, it really did stall out. And for Portland, to their credit, I thought Splitter made a great decision having Jeremy Grant as a small ball 5, because when he was opening up the floor and hitting his corner threes consistently, it really put the Suns in a tough position when they started to get going. The Trailblazers offense from beyond the arc. And now you're going to Denny drives, you're going to have good open looks from 3. And I believe that a lot of the credit deserves to go to Portland. A lot of people took the Suns in this game. I certainly took the Suns. And the frustrating part was the fact that they didn't try throwing a Ryan Dunn, or maybe a Fleming, I understand, is a rookie not playing him on Denny. But I thought on that last possession, they could have given themselves a much better chance in that situation to verify, establish, respond in postseason. And the position, the rotations themselves, they were questionable. And it was kind of frustrating to see the Suns now, they might be in a position where after a great heartwarming season where you turn things around and you become this gritty team with a lot of depth, they have to play a Warrior team that is playing incredible basketball. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but I'll take the Warriors in that game based on what we saw last night.
JC, I'll say one thing and then I'll kick it over to you. This game was best case scenario for me, personally. Just personally, best case scenario. Deni Avdija, 40 ball. And who's the best player on the Phoenix Suns? Not DBook.
Well, it was
not Dylan Brooks.
Jalen Green.
It was motherfucking Jalen Green.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah. Jalen Green, who took a bad shot to end the game. I hated it.
It sucks that you're not getting that again.
Hey. He tried. Hashtag did all he could. Hashtag not his fault. He was hooping. 21 in the first half. Second half did not ease off the gas either. Had some unfortunate bad mistakes at the end of the game. The shot to end the game also wasn't my favorite shot selection. That's the Jalen Green experience. Sometimes those go in. You love them. They missed. Unfortunately, you lose. He was awesome. He was explosive. He was the one actually keeping the Suns in the game, who ended up having a strong chance to win the game. He was the main reason for that. They fell apart down the end. And unfortunately, this is where I'm going to come back down to reality. I have to keep accountability. Devin Booker needs to be better. And you tweeted this and you're 100% right, Joel.
100%.
You're a guy who the franchise's shoulders are on. You understand that it is your job to uplift, especially in these moments. All season long, you've gotten the praise from your peers, and deservedly so. Kevin Durant leaves. Dylan Brooks is the new addition. He's now a bit of a culture changer on the defensive side of the ball. But you are the leader. You are the guy that we trust on a night-to-night basis. You are one of the best scorers in the game. I've consistently said it. He's one of the greatest scorers I've ever seen in my life. I think one of the best scorers this game's ever seen. The three-point shot has drastically taken a step back, and it is shown evidently in his performances over these last few playoffs that we've seen from him. From the last time that he played elite basketball the series that he got injured against the Nuggets. From that point on, it has not been that same level of player where he didn't disappointed against Minnesota. They don't make it last year. And then now in this first play-in game of his, he's underwhelming. And that's not what you anticipate from a guy of a caliber, all NBA level player in Devin Booker. You need to be better. And I'm just keeping accountability for one of my guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, watching the game, I mean, we do have to give tremendous amount of credit to Deni Avdija. Like we said, he was great at driving to the hoop. I believe he got to the foul line 13 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Unethical?
He was getting to
Unethical?
and they was really fouls too. They was real fouls
hoops
too.
did we get?
They was real fouls too. He was passing the ball at a high level. I do kind of agree with Joel that Jordan Ott's rotations and just having smaller guys guarding him definitely benefited to him as well. Defensively, I thought Portland did a great job on Devin Booker. I kind of agree with you too. Devin Booker, the last couple just years, just even as a 3-point shooter, he's regressed so much. This Portland team, you know, it was a good win. They're gonna play the Spurs. I think we all know what's gonna happen, but I think as an introduction to the, I guess, playing, because you don't really jack it as a playoffs. It's a pretty resounding introduction in the playoffs for Deni Avdija.
No, he counts it. He's just being miserable right now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what he's being me.
Yeah, I mean.
He's exactly, John. Well said.
Game was incredible. I think if they had Grayson Allen, he definitely makes a difference. But Phoenix, I don't know if they're gonna beat Golden State. I don't know what's Grayson Allen's. Is he gonna play? Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? Just being off what I saw last night, I don't think it's a shame that Phoenix won 45 games this year. They had a great season. It was an uplifting season, and just for it to all come crashing down like this. It's unfortunate, but
they didn't have their pick. They have a second rounder.
Credit to the Trailblazers and credit to Deni, man. They did their thing.
Most of the Suns' improvement next year is going to come from playing Malu Watts and Rasheer Fleming.
For sure.
That's it. I think that's like those first round pick. That's like their version of first round picks this offseason, because this past year they got some playing time, but they weren't part of the rotation at all. Yeah. Like staples in rotation. I think next year they'll be staples in the rotation. So that will compensate for not having a draft pick, because those players will just slot in. I think Phoenix, they've had a tremendous season, but it's hard for me to act as if it's not going to end here. Yeah. Golden State, with Steph Curry back and the way he played, with Draymond's defense, with Porzingis healthy and playing well, with Santos adding a lot of value, and then AirPods. I know people love to rag on AirPods. He's a really good role player, and he plays his role. He plays defense, and he hustles, and he makes an impact. I mean, he makes winning plays for the team.
Really good.
Yes. I think he's a good player.
Really
I think he's a good. I think
Riv would be having an aneurysm.
Well, of course, because I mean, he hated Klay Thompson on the way out too.
You're not wrong.
So AirPods.
He was bad on the way out.
AirPods.
I think 2022, he was good.
AirPods is all right. I don't think he's nothing special.
No, all right. The year they won, he was good.
He's a good role player. I think he's a good role player.
Who are we talking about? AirPods?
AirPods is a good role player. And all of the lineups with him, when you look at the data, they're positives because he knows how to play off Steph, and he can defend on the perimeter, and he can rebound well for his size. So I think Golden State, like, you just have Phoenix running into them at the worst moment. Yeah. And the problem with Phoenix right now, and the problem that Jordan Ott is having, is that this isn't a team that we know it's not the most talented team in the league, but they do have a lot of good depth pieces. And it's an embarrassment of like good role players to where he doesn't know who the hell to play in certain situations. Because if you play Rasheer Fleming, then Royce O'Neal doesn't play. Yeah. You know, you have to pick and choose. And they have three really good centers. So you're either playing Mark Will and Oso, and you're not playing Malawach, you're playing Malawach and Mark Will, not playing Oso, or you're playing Oso and Malawach and not playing Mark Will. Like, it's a lot of things that he has to come to terms with, and because of that, he's just kind of sticking with the veterans of the group.
The frontcourt depth is a luxury to me, but I do agree in the sense that they're going to have to consolidate some of the wing depth. Maybe it's Royce O'Neal this offseason or some other players to open up and free up the playing time for these younger players. I even like Kobe Bryant out of Kentucky, but it's probably going to be a few more years for him to get that opportunity. I agree with what you said on the Warriors. I thought Al Horford played very excellent in the fourth quarter, not only with the three-point shooting possession after possession. I believe it was 7 straight or 9 straight possessions of Warriors score and 21 straight points. And it was not only the three-point shooting from Al Horford, but when he was opening up the floor and you had to switch Brook Lopez onto Brooke Lopez had to switch
Cook was
on.
scrambling.
Switch
bro.
onto.
No idea what
He
to
switched
do.
off of Al Horford onto Draymond Green, and now you have Steph getting Brooke Lopez switched onto him on pick and roll, and Steph's absolutely lights out last night and showing even at this age just how high of a level he can reach. Not only as a 3-point shooter hitting shots from 35 plus feet, but also getting to the rim. And the biggest shout out, I believe, goes to Draymond Green at this age to say, all right, Kawhi Leonard, you've been MVP candidate. You're having the best offensive year of your career. I'm going to completely take you out of this game. I'm not going to say take you out of the game. It's a strong way to put it, but I'm going to put you in a straight
He
jacket.
took him
You
out the
kind of
fourth
did,
quarter.
bro.
And
the
there was
fourth
a
quarter,
point
kinda
where
did.
1
He
for
took him
6.
in isolation, Kawhi couldn't get a clean look off of Draymond whatsoever, and his best looks were just coming out of transition. And that was what stood out to me the most, with Draymond raising up to that level. And I felt like Porzingis played one of his best games of war, adding a little bit of pop to not only the outside shot making, but with his size, the Warriors haven't had a player with that much skill at that size and at really any point in the Steph era, dating back to when they had David Lee their last true quality high-end talent at the center position. So I believe when you have all of these players clicking, Guy Santos playing wonderfully into this, playing off of Steph and Draymond, and DeAnthony Melton, this team is playing super hot. And I agree with you, Drew. If they had Jimmy Butler, it would be a very interesting first-round series. It's a bummer. And I also want to say, in this matchup versus Phoenix, when you're talking about Devin Booker, if you were to compare Devin Booker in 2021 and 2022 to today, the explosiveness is not the same. And when you look at that elite level of playoff performance and production he was giving you, there's that burst he had to be able to push the pace, and that separation is not quite there at the same degree.
Sure.
And last night, at the end of these possessions, you're seeing him trying to get these looks off, and it's just not the same caliber of athleticism. And so that's where I feel like we're going to see Devin Booker start to fall back more on this tougher shot making in the postseason, a la Chris Middleton. At his best in Milwaukee, there were some great highs, but there are also those moments where he was not efficient. He was not consistent. And I believe in the second half of Devin Booker's tenure in Phoenix, you're going to see a little bit more of that. And it's disappointing because of the fact you have such a high standard for DBook based off of his prior track record in the playoffs.
Devin Booker was either in like this stage of his career was going to produce like we see other all-time shooting guards produce when they have a team that's pretty underwhelming, and we see players, they have like crazy scoring output seasons. We saw it from Kobe in 2006. We saw it from James Harden in 2019 when everybody was hurt. I just don't think Devin Booker's that caliber of player. And it's not a knock on him. And Anthony Edwards this year basically averaged 30. Donovan Mitchell had a great year as well. I think the problem with Devin Booker, and this is just the type of player that he is that we know that he's a good shooter. Devin Booker has always been pretty solid from three, even dating back to college. He's won 3-point contests. I know that's not the end-all, be-all, but he's at his best as a standstill catch-and-shoot 3-point shooter. And him transitioning from playing shooting guard to playing point guard, I think is hurting his game a lot because he's not as efficient off the dribble shooting threes as Mitchell or Anthony Edwards. And I think that's why he's not the same level of score that those guys are. And he also doesn't have the same first step to drive and be a walking paint touch like those two. That's why we saw with Chris Paul, and even before Chris Paul got there with Rubio, Devin Booker was playing really well because he was playing off somebody. So I think the Suns, more than anything, have to realize how to properly build around Devin Booker so he can slide back into his natural position, so he can be more of an efficient player. Because I don't think he's at his best when he's the driving force of initiating an offense, because there's too many things he has to worry about, getting people involved, not going and hunting his shot. He needs a true point guard to set him up for those looks. So I think that's the priority for the Suns is in the offseason, you got to find somebody that can be that. Colin Gillespie was a great story, but he's not that type of player. He's more so off the ball. He can maybe create off the catch, but he's not going to be a maestro in the pick and roll. Like, they don't have that point guard on the roster. Like, right now, you have Devin Booker being point guard for Jalen Green. And I just don't think that's going to maximize Devin Booker's value as a player.
A great point. They still should be playing Gillespie more. I understand he's not anywhere near the caliber of playmaker that Chris Paul is or even Ricky Rubio in that 2020 season. But when you have that guard, you should be leaning on him a little bit more. I love Gillespie if he is kind of that third guard in the mix, though. So that's going to probably be the biggest need for the Suns. You have the wing depth. You have these complementary players of Dylan Brooks. Jalen Green is kind of this big, the word I'm trying to look for here, it's always going to be a roller coaster. We're going to have these insane highs and these low lows in the aggregate. I think you're getting a fine ball player that can have just a great 6-man to maybe a starter in the right season if his hand is threes consistently. But I think when you look at the front court depth and all these different positions the Suns have checked off, the one thing I'm with you, Joel, it's the fact that you need that high-end guard that can open up the offense and hopefully add a little more of that pick and roll dimension as well with Mark Williams.
The Blazers had the perfect personnel to guard Booker. I mean, they had Kamara on him for the entire fourth, but then if it's not him, it's Drew Holiday.
The size that Portland plays with is crazy.
Yeah.
It's Jeremy Grant. Like, you have a lot
Jeremy
of good
was
defenders.
clutch too for them down the stretch.
He was like, you have a lot of good defenders that were guarding Devin Booker and honing in on him, and it made it tough because I mean, Jalen Green was hitting a lot of tough shots, and he had a great game, which is why Devin Booker in the fourth quarter, he needs to perform better than he did, because this year it's kind of been a trend for Devin Booker and the Suns in the fourth quarter that he kind of hasn't performed that well. Like, in watching a lot of Suns close games late in the fourth, he seems to disappoint in those moments. Just this year, that's kind of what I've seen from him. So Portland, shout out to them. I also, before the Suns went on their run, Scoot Henderson was playing really well for Portland.
Great defense.
Yeah, he played
Great
well.
defense.
Offensively, he was hitting his shots. Defensively, he played really well. Like, Portland just has a lot of depth, and I think that running into a Suns team that they knew how to guard, the Suns didn't have an answer for how to guard them off the drives. Like, it was a really bad matchup for Phoenix. And now, I mean, I don't feel like any of us have the confidence in Phoenix beating Golden State. I don't even think we would have had the confidence in them beating the Clippers if the Clippers beat Golden State.
No, you guys know how I felt about the Clippers coming in. Yeah. Listen, credit where it's due to the Warriors. Watching them, where they were basically behind the entire game, but I'm watching, I'm just thinking, this is far from a bad basketball team. Porzingis looked the healthiest that he looked all season long. He was playing outstanding. Curry, what a show he put on. Just absolutely sensational. When you get a performance like that, it's just hard not to love what you're watching. As I've gotten older and I no longer worry about LeBron versus Curry, it's been a newfound appreciation. I feel like that's kind of how it was for people that were finally able to turn the page and appreciate LeBron's game. That's kind of how it's been for me over these last few years, watching Curry really appreciate what he's been able to mean to the game, especially as he gets older. And the fact that he's just still able to have performances like this, but still look like the same player that he was in 2016, 2017. His style of play never changes. The fact that he's been able to sustain this amount of athleticism in his game and this amount of consistency in his game, it sucks that he does have to deal with these nagging injuries that he picks up from time to time, year to year. But whenever he's on that court, he's inevitable. And a lot of credit to the role players of this team. And Draymond Green's much more than a role player. We understand that. But, John, I think you said it perfectly. His performance last night was, I don't want to say the main reason because I just going to go immediately to Curry, but 1B. Yeah. The defense that he played was absolutely outstanding. And when you have you brought in Al Horford for moments like yesterday. Yeah. Sit in that corner, spot up, hit threes, be a factor on the defensive side of the ball because we need bodies. We need a paint presence. We brought in Porzingis because Al Horford, you are older. We need a little bit more depth there. Porzingis was able to come back in the game after kind of tweaking his ankle. He still was able to go ahead and put up 20 points in this game. Mm-hmm. It's just the idea that if Jimmy Butler were on this team, I just can't help but think, what if?
Right.
Because it just seems as if this is some of the best roster construction that I've seen from the Warriors in a decent amount of time. Guy Santos, just out of nowhere, nobody thought that the Warriors would have, for a few years, the Warriors have been poor at developing players. And then out of nothing, here comes Guy Santos, who this year, post Jimmy Butler, he's been an excellent, excellent role player for them. And in the moments where Curry was out, he was their best, most productive player.
Santos fits their system like a glove. And I also want to mention, too, Steve Kerr needs a lot more credit because there's some talks coming to the night whether or not it's going to be his last game, last season coaching the Warriors. And I thought he did an excellent job. And then I look at this matchup versus the Suns. The way Steph's playing, I don't know how you can form any sort of consistent or game plan to take him, to actually be able to defend him consistently. Because I don't think you can look at this right now and say there's any way you can guard Steph.
Are you going with the Warriors over the Suns, too?
Yeah, I'm going with the Warriors over the Suns just off what I saw the last game from the the Suns versus Portland. You guys touched on pretty much everything. Steph Curry was amazing from 3, scoring. Another great thing that the Warriors did as a team defensively, they had 12 steals yesterday, so they were really getting after it on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you have Draymond Green. Like, I think if there's a game where Devin Booker's going off or whatever the case may be, if it's the next game, you have someone like Draymond Green who can probably do the same thing that he did to Kawhi Leonard versus Devin Booker. So the Warriors are touching on all cylinders. You know, Guy Santos has been good this year. Draymond Green's been good defensively. Al Horford, look, I don't know if we can really count on him hitting 4 threes in the span of 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever the hell it was. But he was good. But I just think from top to bottom, I think the Warriors are just better than the Suns, and I think that they're just better coached, and I think they're gonna have the best player in the series in Steph Curry. So I just don't see a world after the last game that I just saw. I just don't see a world where the Suns can really mess with the Warriors.
You're the only one that would do it.
Unfortunately, it's Devin Booker show up or shut up
Or
time.
bust.
Yeah, he needs to perform at a high level. Like, Devin Booker needs to definitely have a bounce back game. Yeah. Even if the Suns don't win, Devin Booker needs to be phenomenal. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Will you call him a fraud if not?
Definitely in the last 2 games, a fraud. Yeah, he's in this stretch. He's a fraud.
Who's the worst player that you would take over Devin Booker moving into next season if that were to be the case?
I wouldn't take.
Don't think too hard about it.
I wouldn't take this player off Devin Booker, but just because it's fresh in my head, based on what you've seen Deni Avdija do to the Suns. Would it be crazy for anybody to be like Deni Avdija over
DBook talks, John? We're in DBook talks, John. How did we get here?
Well, would it be crazy?
We cooked, John. It's our greatest take.
It's not bad.
Would it be crazy? What if somebody next year was like, yeah, I mean, Deni Avdija, he outplayed DBook in a must-win game, and he had great numbers.
No, this is a bit much. I'll say this, bit much, a lot much. I would still take DBook comfy.
I would still take DBook too.
But we're in DBook.
I think it all depends on how he's gonna play against San Antonio. Like, I think if Deni Avdija can have a good series against San Antonio,
we're talking about a superstar.
Yeah, then we're like, oh shit. But I mean, if he goes like, it's a playing game, bro. If he goes to fucking San Antonio and they lock him up, Stephon Castle, and he's not as like dominant or productive in that series, like, I'm not ready to say that.
Would you be surprised though? Like, I'm not gonna be surprised
if he gets strapped.
It's such a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be your saving grace.
I love
your saving grace.
Yeah, you better hope.
You have to run up against Stephon Castle, and congratulations, you get past him, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
That is so foul.
Yeah, at least there's no expectations for Portland in that series.
It's a good point.
How do you guys think DBook would have performed against the Spurs?
I think Devin Booker would have struggled against the
Spurs as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have Stephon Castle as a defender enough. Like, that's a tough task to ask for. They would have definitely overhelped on a lot of things too. And I just think that the Suns need another creator. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I don't disagree.
Let me ask you guys this though. What if Devin Booker wilds out and they beat the Warriors? And what the hell is what was this conversation? Or are we just or is this
that's what I said.
Or is this just a game to game thing between these two guys now?
But that's exactly what the point was.
Between him and Deni?
The question was straight up, if he drops a dud, he plays like shit, they lose, what's the worst player that you're gonna take over him? And if he hoops, like, I'm anticipating and hoping that he plays well against Warriors, I do believe he will, then he's DBook.
Yeah.
Devin Booker is
just
still,
a game-to-game thing.
I think, a top 15 player, maybe 15, 16, like in that area. That's how I view him still.
Do you view Deni anywhere near that?
I view Deni like a top 30 player. That's how I view Deni. He's a top 30 player.
30?
He's shooing up that list, my man. He's shooing up that list.
Well, he is going up
30?
the list. He is going up the list for sure. Deni Avdija played really well this year. I can't take that away from him.
God, 41.
Hey, in
It's
a
a
perfect
plan.
let me tell you something. In a perfect world. Go ahead.
What moved you more, Zion's 40 versus the Lakers or Deni's 40?
No, Zion's 40 versus the Lakers. It was against
That
AD.
shit was crazy.
I didn't even get to finish the game.
He did not get to. We would have lost.
It's the only postseason game Zion's played.
We would have lost. He was frying AD, frying him.
What were you gonna say?
I said, in a perfect world, for us to have this comparison to really like get a definitive answer or be closer to an answer, in a perfect world, the Suns beat the Warriors Devin Booker matches up against OKC's defense. Deni Avdija matches up
He's
against the
cooking.
Spurs defense. And then we just go from there to see who dominates in the series.
You're
I'm not
cooking.
ready to say Denny is better than Devin Booker because,
Neither am I.
like I said, I've seen Devin Booker do it at the highest level. I agree with Joel's take. He doesn't have a true point guard. This is what's messing up like a lot of players these days, including Devin Booker. They're trying to make him a point guard or do everything guy. At this stage of his career, you just said Devin Booker's one of the best scorers that you've ever seen. He will be the most effective. This is just an example. If he had someone like James Harden running point guard for him, he would be very good. I just think right now that they're asking him to do too much with a roster that's not that good, and I think they're not catering to his strengths though. But in a perfect world, hopefully Devin Booker can get his act together. They can beat the Warriors. They can. I'm not saying they will because we all said that he wouldn't, but they can. And then we just take it from there. That you're going against OKC, Devin Booker. Let's see how you perform against
Pretty
those
fair.
perimeter defenders. And then Deni, you're going up against Stephon Castle, and you have the best shot blocker at the rim. Your game is getting down the hill driving. So I feel like that'd be in a perfect world. Both these guys make the playoffs, and then we just go from there to see who performs
So,
better.
Hypothetically, what he said just happens.
God.
Denny plays better against the Spurs than D-Book plays against OKC. You're going to sit here and tell me Denny's better than D-Book?
No, I never said I would say it. But if somebody made
Just
the
flirting with
argument for
He's
Deni Avdija,
flirting like Brock Purdy over Herbert.
if somebody
He's flirting.
if somebody made the argument,
Tossing up there.
Hey, yo, Denny got to prove it,
if
bro.
somebody made
So
the
if I came
argument,
Oh, by
to
the
you-
way,
Hey, yo,
If
Denny
I
gotta
came to
prove
you
it,
then
bro.
and said, hey, Denny he might got it over D-Book. You look at me and be, that's not crazy to say.
no, it's not because we saw them match up.
Hey, yo, but
head-to-head.
Drew, Denny,
Yeah.
Drew,
Yeah,
hey, yo, Drew, though, but
that's
for real though,
Denny Avdija's
Denny has to
Case
prove
right
it though. Like
I'm
I
nervous.
understand it's the Spurs or whatever the case may be, but for you to be in conversations with someone like D-Book, who he said is a
Trust.
top 15
That's a
player, I think he's
compliment.
a top 20 player. You're gonna have to do some damage in the playoffs.
I agree.
You
So-
can't just
I
lay
agree.
a dud and then be like, yo, well, you're better than D-Book. Like, nah, he hasn't been here. He had a great playing game. Like I said, unfortunate that he's going against that team, but I gotta see how he performs before I elevate him, bro. Like it's
true.
He's
Because-
got to play.
amongst the top shooting guards, and I mean Devin Booker now, he's a plays point guard, but I still want to compare him to shooting guard. I'm taking Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Stamp,
I think I'm taking Donovan Mitchell,
Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
and I think I'm taking Jalen Brown now.
Jalen Brown's
There's
Yeah,
got to be
Jalen
someone
Brown
else.
at this
Yo,
point's a better player.
actually,
Jalen Brown's a 3.
He
He's
is
a
also
three.
a 3-4.
He's a
Yeah.
3.
what's Tyrese Maxey? Is he more of a one?
Tyrese
He's
is a 1.
become-
Okay,
Well,
he's
who would you
become
take,
one.
Tyrese Maxey or Devin Booker?
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey.
I think so,
bro.
too. At
Moving
this
forward,
point,
right,
yeah.
2 years ago, it was D-Book.
Yeah,
4
for
years ago,
sure.
obviously, D-Book when he was in his first year. Right now,
Maxey
moving-
just had a career
Maxey
year.
last night was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Jalen
he
Suggs
was.
didn't have a prayer on him.
He
and
was.
it's one of the premier point of attack defenders in the league.
True.
He is taking his game to a completely different level.
I'm not ready for
His-
that one yet.
What do
I'm
you
not ready
mean?
for. I'm just
He
not
was
ready to
second team
say
All-NBA.
yet. Okay,
He's
Devin Booker's been
already-
first team All NBA.
This season,
Again,
We talking
this
about right
season,
now.
forward.
This season, I will say Tyrese Maxey was more impressive. Yes, I'll give Tyrese. I'm not trying to slay him. Moving forward, I have a hard time with that because of what Devin Booker has shown me for a litany of seasons.
I would agree with you if he still looked as explosive as he did in 2020.
So who you think's better, Maxey or Denny?
Maxey,
You think Maxey's
I
better?
do think Maxey's
So
better.
wait, so you said for what Devin Booker's shown you in the past, it would be hard for you to put Maxey over him.
for sure.
So why are you trying to put Denny over him?
I did not.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought you were
Listen.
insinuating. That
A year and a
okay.
half ago, we had
Okay.
a talk, and it was Josh Hart versus Denny.
No, this is a whole.
I mean, bro,
insider
Deni
thing.
Avdija's
It's-
literally
it's-
Okay,
broken
well,
out.
LaMelo or Devin Booker?
Devin
Devin
Booker.
Booker.
Oof, I don't know about that one, bro.
I'm trying to think hard about that. Devin Booker.
It's Devin
I don't know
Booker.
about that one.
You don't think it's a
I
conversation?
don't
or
know
a
about
thought?
that. Like,
I'm taking him. Like
Come on. All right, listen. I
oof.
love
LaMelo has a lot to work on,
LaMelo.
bro.
I love him.
So super
and D-Book's
talented, but
regressing.
We saw him. He saved his legacy with that game winner because that was a dreadful game.
I'll say
His-
D-Book though. I'll
Yeah,
say D-Book.
LaMelo's scoring is too inconsistent. His playmaking is
carries.
elite.
Defensively, he was getting ragged
He,
by
he,
Davion. and
he
everyone.
literally got pulled at the end
Yo,
of the
John,
game
what
for
What you think about
defensive
D-Book's
purposes.
defense though?
Say it again.
D-Book's regressed as a defender this
Yes,
year too,
but it's-
especially like in all
LaMelo's,
aspects.
though,
They're both better.
It was horrendous.
They're both better than each other at like.
and the shot selection.
LaMelo's a
from
better
LaMelo.
playmaker. D-Book's the better scorer.
Easily.
I'll take D-Book.
Defense is
for the same
easy,
reasons.
D-Book
LaMelo
too.
has a
Yes, but D-Book's not that good.
LaMelo's
on
skill
defense.
set's unreal, but there's also that level of shot selection where he's taking a bomb from 35 feet, doesn't get back on defense, and then it's a transition layup. on
I
the
agree.
rim. There are these little,
Mhm.
whether it's a shot selection, the off-ball defense, the on-ball
Fouling the
defense,
three-point
and
shooter.
also the inefficiency his talent is undeniable, but there's still an extra gear that we have to see LaMelo
I
take.
agree.
And I do want to, while we're on this topic of Maxey, Deni Avdija, and LaMelo Ball, we have to highlight that the 2020 NBA draft has had one of the most unbelievable rises in NBA history, because in the pandemic, we didn't have March Madness. We didn't have a normal kind of scouting process leading to that draft. People said this is a very weak draft at the top. We don't know which of these prospects is going to be a surefire franchise player. And right now, we're seeing 5 of them at least. You have Anthony Edwards, who has transcended to a top 6 player in the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton, who last year, if he doesn't tear his Achilles, the Pacers win an NBA championship. And then you take it a step further. Even if you don't agree with that, that's fine. He took the Pacers to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Then you take it a step further. Tyrese Maxey, second-team All-NBA this season. He's taken the keys as Joel Embiid has had consistent injuries kind of take away the player that he was a few years ago. And then you move to Deni Avdija, has become this All-NBA player. And you're not even done there because you have LaMelo Ball. We saw Desmond Bane yesterday put on an absolute show. And you continue to go down the board. Jaden McDaniels, Emmanuel Quickley, Peyton Pritchard, Onyeka Okongwu, and I'm forgetting a handful of other quality rotation players. It's pretty remarkable that we're seeing all at once in this playing crucible. These players become superstar level talents, and then high level starters become stars. Now, when you talk about, this year it's been this rookie crop and how great it's been, draft classes, the 2020 class has been simply unbelievable this year.
I think now we have to go into the Hornets and Miami Heat game, because I agree. I think LaMelo needs to still show it in high leverage moments, because his play style is still very erratic. I think the case for him is that he just drives elite offense at a very rare level. And against the Miami Heat, he didn't have an efficient game shooting, but he was the dictator of the offense, and he was getting high quality shots for the Hornets consistently down the floor. Now, maybe you could put a little bit of an asterisk next to it because Bam Adebayo went out with the game, and went out is kind. LaMelo, whether it was intentional or unintentional, he brought him down, and then Bam Adebayo got hurt and wasn't able to return. Yeah. But the problem with LaMelo, too, is that he did turn the ball over late, and it almost cost the Heat. He did foul Tyler Hero, and the Miami Heat were definitely picking on LaMelo Ball late in the game, consistently trying to get him into those actions. I think Charlotte, what they showed me was that they were a really resilient team, and it's good that they could count on their depth because Kobe White was huge in the fourth quarter.
Remarkable.
But Concanepo, Concanepo was pretty terrible. Concanepo, hopefully he bounces back against the Orlando Magic. But we're kind of seeing this rise from the Hornets right now with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller becoming their half-court creator. Charlotte is legit, and that's why I'm hoping that they beat Orlando, because I would much rather watch Charlotte versus Detroit than Orlando versus Detroit.
I need a break from watching the Magic.
The concern is that Orlando is one of the worst watches in basketball. That's the really unfortunate part. To talk about this game, what a start.
One of the best
games
of the season.
Wow. The fact that Kobe White, let me start from the beginning. Shout out to Miami. Mm-hmm. Because Miami has consistently been that team everybody overlooks come playing time. You have to lock in and take them serious, because in a one-game situation, I'm taking Spo 9 out of 10 times. Bam Adebayo gets injured in this game. Wrap it up. You think Charlotte's going to walk away with it. And at a portion of this game, it looked like they were going to take control. Weren't able to. Miami has a legit chance to walk away and steal a win on the road. And enter Kobe White. Kobe White just absolutely freaks out and makes some insane shot to send this game into overtime. And you have to give credit to the role players, not role players, because we know Brandon Miller obviously is the main creator, not initiator, but main creator for himself. Miles Bridges.
He had an insane game.
Great. He's just a guy that nobody talks about because of obvious reasons off the court. On the court, he's a special, talented player. And in moments like this, you have to give him his flowers. He really did have a high moment game. But where we talk about LaMelo Ball and the issues that he had down the stretch of this game, it felt as if he continued to right his wrong time and time again. He wasn't great as a shooter, so now he's working downhill. He goes and he has the layup to go ahead and put them up 5. You're right, he has the turnover, which leads to the foul, which leads to them going down 1. He takes the responsibility on his shoulders. He goes ahead and has the go-ahead game-winning layup. So as much as there's the part of me that can be upset with the immaturity at times on the court and the lack of experience, he's just resilient. And like we mentioned, we know that he's a guy that leads efficient offense, one of the best playmakers in basketball, one of the most exciting players to watch in general. It was really exciting for me as a fan of his to watch him rise to the moment and go through all the motions, all the experiences of being in that playoff atmosphere where sometimes it gets the better of you and you turn the ball over and you miss these shots. But to come back down and to be level-headed and to still be able to rise to the occasion and have your team go ahead and come away with this W when it seemed as if you guys were chopped, you got to give credit to him. You got to give credit to the Hornets for being an inexperienced team that looked extremely experienced in this playing game versus the Heat.
Riv laid it out perfectly in the preview that you have this completely two different contrasting forces. The Heat with the best coach in basketball and Eric Spoelstra looking to, and as you highlighted, Joel, take Concanople out of the game. That's exactly what they did. And at the end of this game, they're closing with Kobe White, and they're taking Con off the floor. And Kobe White hits one of the most absurd shots I've ever seen.
Straight up get
before
it,
they
turn
can even
around.
foul him. To hit that turnaround over his left shoulder like that was unbelievable. And that's kind of the microwave score that Kobe White can. That's just a ceiling that we've seen in the past. Up 40 in a playing game a year ago. It's pretty cool to have that player off your bench on a night where Lamelo Ball is 2 of 16 from 3. And I felt like for Miami, you have to start this game, and I hate to say it, the officiating was horrible. I mean, from the fact that they missed the Lamelo Ball play that realistically, if he doesn't get ejected, that has to be called something. And it was a dirty play. Whether or not you think it was intentional is a different story. But for that to take Bam out the game was such a bummer. And then the Heat managed to rally. Davion Mitchell has as good of a game as you could possibly ask for.
Great game.
And despite the fact that Moussa Diabate had like 7-9 offensive rebounds, I thought Kolo Ware really stepped up and was the only player on the Heat that was really rebounding. And he had 19 boards, 5 blocks. There was kind of this balance. I saw a meme on Twitter that he is a hybrid of Christian Wood one possession, the next possession it's a shade of Wemby, right? And there's these highs and lows with Kolo Ware. But he played a great game, and I felt like for Miami, you saw the control of this game get handed back and forth 5 different times between the two teams. From that run Kobe White sparks at the end of the third quarter going the fourth, and like, all right, Charlotte's got this in the bag. They're up by double digits. And at the end of this game, it's this crazy run where Tommy Hawkes is getting going, Tyler Hero's cooking, and at the end, right before LaMelo Ball's game winner, he has one of the most disastrous sequences you possibly could expect. A near backcourt violation, turns over the ball before getting over half court. And I don't know if the foul call on Tyler Hero should have been called a foul. There's a little bit of hand contact.
It was close. I agree.
I wouldn't have called that if I'm the ref. I'm also not official. But I feel like it was kind of weak. I'm like, I know Tyler Hero's going to hit all 3 of these 3 throws, and that's going to be the game. And I'm thinking to myself, what a brutal way to end such an amazing
real. You're
game.
not lying.
And it didn't matter because we had what felt like a 12th different sequence, which was the new climax.
It was one of the best games of the season, genuinely.
And Charles Lee needs a lot more credit for drawing that play, coming out of a timeout, I suppose. And I felt like his composure, where you're coaching against the best coach in the world and a team that's playing with their hair on fire. Andrew Wiggins played a great game as well. He deserves credit. Charles Lee proved that, no, I have this experience in Boston, Milwaukee. I'm a quality coach, and I'm going to show you on this postseason crucible. So he deserves a big shout in a game where LaMelo wasn't playing his best, and Concanoople's out the game to close. So that was a tough call to make, and he made the right one.
I talked a lot, but the last thing, Charles Lee, he won't get any Coach of the Year nod. He won't, because the coaches at the top of the table are so deserving. Charles Lee turned one of the worst teams in basketball. They are one game away from the playoffs. One of the most efficient offenses in basketball. It goes hand in hand with the health that they've experienced this season, but also the job he's done as a head coach. He needs nothing but praises. Inexperience. That is all the Hornets have known, because they've unfortunately not been in these moments. They really turned it up, man.
Hey, I was really impressed with the game. The game was absolutely incredible. I think the Hornets, they as a team, they took a step in the right direction. They grew up in a tough moment against Miami. These moments right here are good for young teams. For them to be in a back and forth against one of the greatest coaches of all time, for them to win without one of their best players offensively in Concanople, for them to just have a lot going against them, and for them to pull this win out was absolutely phenomenal. You're talking about the Kobe White shot was absolutely clutch. Bridges was hitting absolutely clutch shots. Even the last possession of the game, the chase down block, I don't know if it was Brandon Miller or Miles Bridges. Oh my God. Yo, what a hell of a block. I don't want to sound like a party pooper. I think if Bam Adebayo does play, I think that they do
100%
win.
agree.
He was 3 for 3, 4 for 4 to start the game. He was hot, was on fire. Very unfortunate that happened. But this is great for a team like the Hornets. They're getting experience in the plan in these tough situations in a tough game against one of the best basketball minds this game has ever seen. I do agree with John. The officiating was a little fishy. The Tyler Hero free throws at the 3-point line foul was, it was a bang call. He knocks them all 3 down. But just an action-packed game. I kind of do agree with you guys with the notion of Lamelo Ball. He's a little too sporadic. He was 2 for 16 for the 3. Very inefficient. I was surprised to find out that he was a plus 15 in the game. So that definitely shows you that he was impacting. He was running good offense. I think his assist to turnover ratio wasn't too bad. So he was definitely valuable in a lot of aspects of the game. The go-ahead layup, to win the game, he made up for that egregious foul on Tyler Hero. But I'm just happy that the Hornets won this game. I'm happy that I'm seeing a team taking a step in the right direction. And another thing, I was so excited and I was so happy when I saw how electric that goddamn crowd was.
Yo,
bro.
for real.
They got behind that team. And it was just like, bro, I'm so happy that I just hope that they beat the Magic, but I'm really happy. I like the direction that the Hornets are going in. And like Charles, what's his name? What's his name? I always botch his name, but I think he's done a great job. And I mean, I kind of agree with you. If that's not the best game of the season, it's definitely a top 5 game of the season. It was just incredible.
That's up there with the Nuggets,
Incredible.
T-Wolves Christmas game.
Yep.
But this one was so memorable. And the one play that I'm trying to find now, I want to say it was in overtime. Hornets are down by 6 points, about 40 seconds left. And they throw a lob to Brandon Miller, and he hasn't come down with it cleanly. And everyone's saying, go up for this dunk, go up for the layup. He doesn't. He kicks out to Miles Bridges for an above-the-break 3, and everyone's like, go up for the leg, get the easy bucket. And then Miles Bridges hits the 3, and they're down by 3 points. Like, hang on a second. They foul. They're down by 4. Then they're down by 2. And then Brandon Miller hits this improbable 3 at the hand right in his face. I thought that hiccup, that one little mistake where he doesn't come down at the lob for an easy 2 points,
Benefited.
it turns into the play that ends up winning the game remarkably.
Bridges
That
had
chain
28,
reaction was insane.
Bridges had amazing 28 points. Like, I mean, bro, they were hitting all cylinders.
He didn't miss. He everything
He was hitting reverse
up.
layups. Like,
That shit was clean too.
That was a
that
huge
was
game
reverse
for him.
layups. He
If
was
the
doing his
Hornets
thing.
lost, it would have been so disappointing because after the third quarter run, it felt like they sealed the game. It felt like in the fourth quarter, it's like cruise control, but then Miami kept fighting back. I'm just happy that their season isn't over and they don't go down as like a
Hopefully
team
they
that
make the playoffs.
was one of the best teams in the new year, and then that they disappointed and didn't make the postseason. Like, I want to see them in the postseason, especially over Miami, which we know what they are. I mean, right now, they don't know what they're gonna do in the future.
Did you
They're in
see
no man's
allegedly
land.
the rumor? They're down for whatever this
They
offseason.
want their big whale is one of the quotes on Bleacher Report. I think Shams was quoted saying that they want their big whale this offseason.
That's just the most we're trying to get Giannis tweet of all time.
For the Miami
I don't
Heat.
see that as a move for them.
Tyler Hero and
I don't
Norman Powell
either.
can't play together. Like
They
their
can't.
their
Horrendous.
lineups have been disastrous when they're both on the court. They both provide offense, but they're not
Defense.
driving forces of an offense, which is kind of an issue. And then defensively, you can't play them together. You have to have Davion on the floor with one of them to just make the defense work.
And they hardly played together this year because Hero's injuries played less than 40 games.
Yeah.
And that's something where Paolo builds off last year with an all-star caliber year. How are you going to sell high on that or find some remarkable way to fit them together? I agree with you.
Exactly. Like, the Miami Heat have some good pieces. I thought Andrew Wiggins really showed up in the game as well.
It was good.
And he hit some nice fourth
Davion
quarter
Mitchell was
buckets.
good, so.
But I really hope the Hornets move on. I do have them beating the Orlando Magic. I suspect that we're all going to pick them over Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando losing to Philly, and shout out to Philly for moving on. Orlando losing to Philly exposed Paolo Banchero more than any game could ever expose him in his career. Paolo Banchero was legitimately awful. Franz Wagner came back and he played all right. I thought that his process was better in the game. He didn't have the turnovers like Paolo had. He didn't shoot the ball very well.
Both were bad.
They both weren't that good, but Franz at least wasn't turning the ball over and giving it to the other team.
Glorifying a bad game is
Paolo had 5
nasty
turnovers.
work.
Franz had 0.
You're glorifying both objectively bad performances.
But
Paolo had 6 turnovers.
Franz can't play his game because Paolo was in the way.
Oh my God.
100% he can't. The touches are going through Paolo, and Paolo is not
Then
the
why
ball
was
handler.
Desmond able to go crazy?
Because Desmond Bane is Desmond Bane. He's like that.
cook right
Desmond
there.
Bane,
He's a great
Desmond
shooter.
Bane, Desmond Bane's
guy.
probably their best player right now.
I couldn't
So,
agree more.
Offensively, yeah.
Or,
Because Franz isn't
Orlando
healthy, yes.
Mars tweeted this out, and I think that it's pretty accurate based on how teams run and operate. A bust that shows flashes is worse than a bust that flops out
Tells you
outright.
flat out.
Because if somebody's a bust right away, you move on from him quickly. Paolo has shown enough flashes to where Orlando gave him a 5-year, $250+ million contract. They're tied to him unless they trade him this offseason. But like, the value, and I think this goes for Franz too, they're going to have to make a decision on one. I don't think this is a Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown situation. It's far from it. I really believe these two players can't coexist. And you have to pick one that stays so you can provide one of them with more shooting. Because Orlando, I think their biggest problem more than anything is coaching. I think Jamal Mosley, we all know he's going to get fired. They're already out on Jamal Mosley. They're not bought into what he's selling because for years when he first got in Orlando, they were winning games off of just hard work and defending and showing a lot of effort. That has started to deteriorate. Quickly. And now their talent isn't able to win them enough games because they're not on the same page. They're just not resonating with whatever message that he is spewing to them. But Paolo Banchero, what does he do well at a high level? He doesn't defend at a high level. He doesn't pass at a high level. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't drive to the basket at a high level. And he's not efficient. He's one of the least efficient volume scorers in the league. At least Franz has the trait of being able to drive, and he's a better playmaker and a more sound decision maker than Paolo. He at least has a role that he could play within an offense. So I think Orlando has to make a decision on one of those two so they can provide more shooting. You added Desmond Bane into the team, and Orlando's still a poor three-point shooting team. It just goes to show that somebody got to go, and they need to provide more. They need to have a more well-constructed roster that fits around the players that they want to build around long-term. So I think that decision for Orlando is coming this offseason.
Paulo gets the foul line at a high level. And the one thing Orlando does do well offensively is they get to the three-throw line more than any other team. If you were to build an NBA player, just a player built out of a lab, physically that's Paolo Banchero. And I'm very high on Paolo. I have been high on him. Because coming out the draft, I said, what's the vision for this player? We give pro comps. And to me, the high-end comparison was Detroit Blake Griffin. If his three-point shot, his scoring from beyond the arc, that develops. And I said to myself, I'm like, this is a player who can be as good as he wants to be because he gets the three-throw line at a high level. He's a great ball handler. He's a good passer. And he truly can be an all-offensive game changer. The number one for a team that Orlando was starving for in the post-Dwight era. They were looking for that, and they couldn't get it. And what we're watching is a player who has not developed his mental processing. And there's just not any sort of, it's like almost nothing going on upstairs. And it's frustrating because possession by possession, there's not really a plan. A lot of NBA players are setting up, like Jamal Crawford, would talk about it. He's like, I've got 8 different moves in my mind. My number 1, that's my Tim Hardaway move. Then my number 2 is going to be Penny. And my number 3 is going to be adding into this behind the back cross into that. Sequencing each possession, your ball handling combination from the previous one. And with Paulo, there's no process to the way that he attacks. And it's kind of him just freestyle, and he's not a good enough shooter because he's regressed as a shooter to be able to play that way. And then you take it to the rest of the team. Franz Wagner's not healthy right now. Jalen Suggs has regressed as a three-point shooter. He struggled last night to stand in front of Tyrese Maxey, and I get it because Maxey looks just unguardable.
That's the fastest player in the league.
The issue for Orlando is not just the fact that Paolo Banchero has regressed and Franz is hurt, but the blueprint of this team, like you said, was an elite defense. John Isaac is a shell of what he was, and that was someone who was integral as a help defender near the rim. Mo Wagner was amazing for them because he gave them a pick-and-roll dimension, and after tearing his ACL, that's completely gone. And you look at this bench, it's night and day, even after Anthony Black took this big step forward, and Desmond Bane's been everything that you could ask for. And last night, he was the only reason why this wasn't a 25-point blowout. And the frustrating part for me is that Paolo Banchero has the potential to be an all-NBA player year in and year out. But while I thought he was going to be Blake Griffin coming out the NBA, what he is right now is Antoine Walker, and not the best version of Antoine Walker. He is very frustrating to watch because I know there's so much more in store for him. And until Orlando finds a coach that can truly get the buy-in and they can get internal development, particularly three-point shooting, from Paolo and Franz, at least one of them, this is going to be a team stuck at point B.
Well, the solution feels simple, even though it's hard to execute. Paolo, the Blake Griffin comp, I disagree with it, John, because Blake Griffin is above the rim. He is a
Detroit Blake Griffin.
Detroit Blake, even then, like, he's a relentless attacker and he's aggressive. Paolo Banchero, he's settling for mid-range shots with.
But I understand his sentiment that in college, this guy was he was doing whatever it took to put the basketball.
Paolo Banchero, this shot profile was his shot profile in college.
Yep, fair too.
He wasn't somebody that was driving to the basket, and he was like, he didn't play above the rim, and he didn't have an aggressive play style. He was somebody that, he was taking fadeaway jumpers. When he went downhill when he wanted to, because he has the ability to do so. You saw the flashes, like, this guy is tough to stop. The problem is that he doesn't do it.
It's true.
And he hasn't done it in the NBA. And I think it is very telling that in every year of his career up to this point, the Orlando Magic are better when he's off the floor. This isn't a situation like Cade getting dropped into Detroit and they're just garbage all around and the lineup data is diluted because of how bad the team is. The Orlando Magic have been good. They have been winning. And Paolo has still, in their winning, been a negative for them every year of his career. The solution is simple because Paolo just stop settling for jump shots.
Mm-hmm.
Start being more aggressive and making defenses pay. If a 6'3" player's on you, don't settle for a mid-range jump shot fading away. Mm-hmm. Go attack him and get downhill. But to this point, that is just not in his game. And maybe there's a coach that could come into Orlando and coach him to be a different player, or this is the version of him that we're seeing. But if we can notice that this is something that Paolo needs to improve at, I doubt that he doesn't notice it as well. I'm sure that Paolo is very hyper aware of what he needs to improve on, but every offseason video, all we see is him working on his mid-range jump shots. Mm-hmm. And we just see him working on dribble moves on the perimeter. We're not seeing him really buy in and be a full-time power forward, pick and roll, screen setting, just downhill force of nature. We're not seeing that. And until we see that from Paolo, I don't think we're ever going to get the best version of him.
My fear with the Magic is that they've missed their opportunity. And that's interesting to say, considering the fact that they are such a young team. And you did just make such a power move in acquiring Desmond Bane. You trade away 5 first-round picks. You're assuming that the team's supposed to take a jump. The fact that they've got worse, the fact that, unfortunately, I can't even disagree with anything that you're saying, Paolo has not gotten better. The one thing that you could fall back on if you were a Paolo supporter, Paolo believer, is that in a playoff setting, he rises to the occasion. In the 2 years that he was in a playoff series, he rose to the occasion. Game 7 versus the Cavaliers it came down to, and then a respectable loss against the Celtics where I thought he played great basketball. Against Philly, he was atrocious. And it's tough to sit with because, again, I think that you acknowledge and everybody acknowledge he has all the tools to be a great player. Yeah. It's just a matter of being coachable. And I think that those are the toughest players to quit because the talent is so obvious. It's just you think, okay, well, they just have to work on this and they're just good. As long as they put the work in, they'll be able to fix it. Like, we were begging and pleading with Ben Simmons to shoot the basketball. It would be a pretty big tragedy if you're a Magic fan to see Paolo kind of go out the way that Ben Simmons did. Not the similar way, because obviously we know that Paolo's a better shooter. At least he'll throw the attempts up. That's not the comparison. The comparison is don't let the league pass you by because your inability to adapt. Adapting is what keeps you prominent. It's what keeps you competitive and allows your team to grow with you. He's very young. He has the tools. I still believe that he can be great. I'm not ready to blow it up because I think, like you mentioned, John, injured Franz coming into this game. You obviously didn't get the best version of him. He's getting a pass from yesterday because he's been banged up. He's coming back. And the fact that he was even out there willing to gut it out, respect to him. He ends up leaving this game late off a transition play that happened that was unfortunate. That probably could have been avoided, but the fact that he played in this game at all. Respect to him. He gets a pass. But why I'm not ready to break it apart was because Franz missed so much time. And down the stretch of this season, it was a lot without Franz. So that's why let's give it 1 year where the trio is healthy. But I'm not trying to take anything away from what you guys are saying because it's true. Paolo needs to put himself in a position where he either adapts or the Magic adapt and they move off from him.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with prolonging it is that you run the risk that next year the value is the lowest it can possibly be.
That's the concern.
That is the biggest concern because right now I think there are probably GMs in the league that are thinking like John Tortorelli and Andrew Velez. Man, Paolo's really talented. We can fix him. We can. I think you can get more now for Paolo than for Franz. I do because of Franz's injury history and because people will sell themselves more on the draft pedigree and the physical tools of Paolo. But if you wait a year and
he's still the same
the
player.
season ends like how it's about to end right now Paolo becomes one of the worst contracts in the league. Now he becomes a net negative asset. And the same can be said for Franz as well because, Franz is not scotch-free. It's just over the past couple of years, the numbers would point to that they're a positive with Franz and they have been a negative with Paolo even in similar lineups. So I think with Franz, that's why, I would obviously favor him. But JC, I want to ask you this question. Mm-hmm. Over the next 3 years, you got to pick between the three. You got to rank them. Mm-hmm. Jalen Johnson, Deni Avdija, Paolo Banchero. Who do you want leading your team?
Who do I want leading my team out of all three of these guys? It's gonna be hard. I gotta see a playoff run from these guys for me to just flat out I gotta see how Jalen Johnson performs against the Knicks. I have to see how Deni Avdija performs in the playoffs. Paolo Banchero, he's a good playoff performer, like Drew said. I mean, if you're gonna ask me, I'd probably say Jalen Johnson. I'm high on him offensively. I think he's a good offensive player. He can score, he can pass, he can rebound. He's a decent 3-point shooter. His rim pressure is really good. I would probably say him, but I mean, I would feel better if I got to see an actual playoff run from those two guys.
I'm nuts to say Denny's the most well-rounded of the three.
I was about to say that too, but
he is the most well-rounded.
It's the playoffs.
In the past,
it's playoffs.
Elite defender. Not that anymore.
Higher usage now.
Higher usage, naturally, a lot. From where he entered to now, couldn't agree more. Solid playmaker, elite driver of the basketball, elite getting to the rim, elite getting to the foul line. Okay shooter. What's the hole in his game? Now, I guess defense.
3-point shooting and defense.
The 3-point fair.
He hit 5 of them, but
he did knock them down.
The
yeah, 31's not great.
You would go Deni 1, Johnson 2, and Paolo 3. Is Paolo 3 or?
I think Paolo. This is so tough,
his value
man.
is low right
He's
now.
the only one that has shown us in a playoff situation because that's just what has been available to us.
Yeah, it's true.
He rises. And as low as we can be on Paolo, at the floor, he has that to lean back on. In these 2 playoff series that he's gone in, he's played great. Objectively, great basketball.
Ranking the 3, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Johnson, and then Deni Avdija. John, what are you going with?
Oh, I played the 5th.
You're doing a tough thing. I will answer the question out of dignity. I'm going to go 1, Deni. I'm going to go 2, Jalen. I'm going to go 3, Paolo. I don't feel good about that.
My list is pretty much flipped from him. I'll take Jalen Johnson number 1. I'll take Deni number 2. And Paolo, his value is just so low right now that
it sucks. It sucks that we're kind of
Paolo's definitely the worst offensive player out of all 3
I think
of them,
that's
right?
comfortable.
Yeah, he's just
Paolo would be better if he had Denny's play style.
Getting downhill.
Get to the cup.
And that's essentially how you want Paolo to play.
Yeah.
You want Paolo to play that way.
100%.
He doesn't have the same quick first step that Denny has though, which is different.
He's way stronger.
That's why Denny's able to get downhill like that. But Paolo is strong, and he could do it if he buys in on doing it. The next coach that goes to Orlando has to tell Paolo, listen, just layups and threes. I don't want nothing else. Take the mid range out your game.
We can fade the threes too.
The 3. I mean, I at least want you to take 4.
Because look at
I want
4
you
or
to take
5 a
4 a
game.
night. 4
We
or
can
5 a
tone it
night.
back to when he's hitting them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other issue. You go first.
let me ask you a question. If you're the Magic, would you trade Paolo for Zion straight up?
No.
Hell no.
Absolutely.
It's a problem for another problem. Hell
I'm
no.
getting out of Paolo. I'd do it.
There's
At
not.
minimum, Zion is going to get to that cup.
Zion is so much better than him.
Zion clears
It's
Paolo,
just-
by the way.
It's just the availability.
They both
he played
have
this year though.
money tied to them.
If that happens, I'll trade Franz too. You can't have Zion and Franz. I don't think that would work. I think
Yeah.
you would have to trade Paolo and Franz, and then you would have to I think the perfect lineup for Orlando is like trading Paolo for a shooter, and now Franz can have Bane a shooter, and he can have more spacing around him. So if we have the scenario where Zion is like in Orlando instead, you have to literally build a 5-out lineup to complement Zion.
Paolo is watered down Zion. That's what he is. He's watered down Zion. Everything that Paolo is like, that's like his claim to fame, Zion's actually good at. Like playmaking, Zion's good at that. Paolo's okay at it.
Paolo's decent at that. Yeah.
Zion's elite at getting to the cup. Paolo's pretty good, but doesn't do it as often. Zion does not shoot the basketball. That is one thing I will say. But
No.
Zion will get to that free throw.
He didn't even attempt it no more. Honestly.
No, he really doesn't. And honestly,
it's weird.
I don't blame him. I don't. Because you're going to get to the rim. You're going to shoot about 50 to 55% at the at the cup.
Who, Zion?
Zion.
He's shooting closer to 70.
Well, that's the whole point, but that's his whole game.
I just think you need a 3-ball. Like it's weird that Zion, his first game in the NBA, hit 6 threes, and then he just never ever developed
That
a
is
shot
facts.
after that. Like his first NBA game ever. The biggest question mark with Zion's game was
6 threes, right?
Can you hit threes?
I remember
And in
that
his
game.
debut, he hit 6. And then since then, we just never got the same. We just never got it again. We never got that.
It was a pretty fever dreamish type
Hey
game.
Drew,
from him.
you know Paolo gets to the free throw line more than Zion.
I'm not
I just
surprised
looked
at
it
He
up.
that.
hit the foul 8 times. He went perfect
just looked it
4-4
up.
in that game because he was on minutes restrictions on.
Oh, he had 4 threes in that game. It wasn't 6.
Perfect 4-4. So it felt like it was even more. Comes right off the pine of minutes restriction is automatic.
Is there-
'cause I think Zach Pearl's leaving him.
Is there anything? Because I know you want to hang on to this one more year. You want Franz to be
I
healthy.
mean, you give me
whatever.
Zion, I'm done.
No, I know that, but I'm saying you
Bring me to Orlando.
realistically, you would be cool running it back one more year with these two, right?
Definitely.
What could they do to make the roster better? Like, do you think a point guard that can pass? Like, I mean, like Jalen Suggs isn't really the best distributor at all of the basketball. I know he's elite defensively, but like, well, I mean, what? Because you want them to stay. So, like, what could the Magic do for you to make this pairing at least be viable a little bit?
Internal
Like,
development.
CJ McCollum's a free agent.
I think so.
Very interested. If I'm the Orlando Magic, CJ McCollum, priority number 1. Insane to say that in that way. I'll admit, priority number 1.
The one-
Veteran,
Be able to afford him.
You think he's more valuable than
you're
Suggs?
right.
Well, they would trade Suggs in this scenario, which they're probably gonna have to make a cap
I
decision.
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it.
It's just
Well,
Suggs is their best defender.
easily.
Yeah, you have to
you
keep him.
can't.
They're gonna have to trade somebody, and in my eyes, given his injury history, the 3-point
Yes.
shot regressing, and I watched Maxey still scorch him last night, and their defense fell off after Anthony Black was out of the lineup. Anyways, the defense has not been good, has not been a calling card. To me, I would say Suggs is the odd one out.
That's tough, man. Because it's true. The defense is what I hold on to. The 3-point shot, I've never been fooled. He had the one legitimate great season,
39%.
and then that was it. It's been bad since.
We're going to get into the Eastern Conference first round predictions. The NBA playoffs start Saturday, and it's only right that we give our predictions for each series right now. So on Polymarket, you can make your predictions for the NBA playoffs. And for each series, we're going to look at the percentages and what the public feels will be the games played in the series. So the first matchup up, we can just get by it. It's just the Pistons versus Hornets or Magic. I think it'd be a better series if it was the Hornets. It's a really bad matchup for Charlotte because I think Asar Thompson will play amazing defense on Lamelo Ball. I think all of the tendencies and habits that Lamelo Ball struggles with, I think Amen Thompson can highlight them even more with the aggressive ball pressure that he's going to I think he's going to play LaMelo full court, and it's going to tire him out, maybe make worse decisions. The shooting could be off because he's getting more tired. So I think this is a bad matchup for Charlotte. And I know that some people love Charlotte. They're a fun team, and there might be some hype around them. I also think that we got to put more respect on Detroit. Like, they're, of all the East teams, I think they're the one with the best identity in terms of like, defense. They have a real identity to them. They're physical, they're tough nosed, they're elite defensively, and getting Cade back, there's just nobody on Charlotte that's going to be able to guard him.
It's easy to forget with this Pistons team that a year ago, people were questioning the Knicks because the Pistons nearly took them to 7 games in their first year in the postseason. And if they had Isaiah Stewart, one could make the case that the Pistons could have won that series, and the Knicks proceeded to make the conference finals. We saw the Pistons last year. We saw the Pistons last year with that identity take it to a different gear and play their own brand of basketball, which not a whole lot of teams can match. I know that Charlotte definitely can't really match that physicality on the perimeter because they don't have those point of attack defenders. And I agree with you in the sense that Asor Thompson, to me, has been the best perimeter defender in basketball this year. He would completely take Lamelo out of a game. And then on top of that, you're relying on Concaniple. And that's also going to be difficult too because the physicality, the interior defense on Detroit. And they have so many different wings who are experienced. And I also am kind of just at a point where I see the Magic or a checked out basketball team that's not truly playing for their coach. And I'd rather see a Charlotte team that really has this different type of feel to them, this different play style, and see how that contrasts with Detroit.
I'm going with the Pistons in 4 if it's the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the Hornets, with Charlotte's home atmosphere, I'll give them a game. But I definitely lean more towards Detroit sweeping either team than it being a 5-game series.
I do too. The way that the Pistons have absolutely waxed the Hornets when they've played this season, and this is post Hornets being good at basketball on top of it too, it just haven't been close games. If Cade's back too, and he's just normal Cade, I really look at this as a pretty easy breezy series for them.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. The Pistons getting their best offensive player back. Defensively, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, you got Asar Thompson. They just have so many bodies. They're just so versatile on that side of the ball. They're well coached. They're the only team in the East to win 60 games. I would rather see the Hornets because they're a much more fun watch. But realistically, I would pick the Pistons to sweep them too.
The Celtics versus the Sixers. It's another one. No Embiid, I'm assuming. Even if he does play, I think this is a 6-game series. If he doesn't play, I think the Celtics, they can sweep them. I think they can sweep the Sixers if Embiid doesn't play.
I agree. If no Embiid, I lose all interest in this series. With Embiid, I'm locked in every single game because this Sixers team is an exciting watch, whether we like it or not, especially when Embiid's on that court. We know that. And in this matchup specifically, with no Horford, who we know is Embiid's kryptonite when it comes to playing the Celtics, history has shown us Sixers play against Boston, there's piss running down their leg. The Sixers historically have just been known to get absolutely walked down by Boston. And I don't think that that's going to be any different. I am going to take Boston to win this series. But if Embiid is healthy and able to play in this series, this is a series he can dominate. This is a series where he could be the best player on the court. He could be the best player in the series. He's still that level of player. He showed us that this season, averaging 27, 28 points a game. It's unfortunate that, again, it is clockwork. He's injured right as the playoffs start. It's an appendectomy. It is serious. I'm not trying to say it's not. I'm not trying to minimize this. He can come back. He can play. And if he plays, I'm excited to watch it.
And I know he wants to come back and play. This is somebody who's fought through injuries time and time again in the postseason to be there for his team. And I'm excited because the Celtics don't have the Embiid whisperer anymore. And Al Horford's somebody who always gave him a tough time in the past. If he were to come back, let's say in the middle of the series, game 4, game 5, it is exciting for a Philadelphia team that show in the play-in tournament this complementary cast that played with a different toughness, whether it was Barlow, Oubre, Andre Drummond stepping up. He hit multiple threes, including the game sealer. And then this backcourt is so dynamic with VJ Edgecombe stepping up on the glass. As a rookie this year, he's been pretty clearly the 3rd best rookie in the NBA and doesn't get nearly enough credit for the year that he's had. If VJ Edgecombe's hitting his threes and Tyrese Maxey's playing the way that he has in the postseason, where we saw Max and Jalen Brunson, I can see the series going to 6 games. My other point with the Celtics and Sixers too is that you have 2 great coaches going head to head. Mazzulla's been the coach of the year to me, but I think Nick Nurse has done an excellent job and that would make this a really good round one matchup.
Yeah, history hasn't really been kind to the 76ers in this matchup, dating back to who knows how long. I would take the Boston Celtics. I think they're the better, more rounded team. I think offensively, I trust them more, especially if Embiid's not going to play. I think getting Jason Tatum back, he's been playing well. Jalen Brown's been playing really like all NBA level this year. But I'm kind of with Drew. If Joel Embiid can somehow make his way back in this series, I think that this could literally be a 6-game series. I think it could be I think it'll be close every game, competitive, because they don't have an answer for Joel Embiid. But if Joel Embiid is absent, like he usually always is for the playoffs via injury, I have Boston sweeping this team. Maybe they get one. Maybe there's a game where Maxey, Edgecombe, even Paul George. Maybe there's a game where I would say would probably be at home where they're sparking threes or whatever the case may be. But history hasn't been kind to the 76ers in this series at all with Boston. So I'm gonna pick Boston in a sweep. And if Embiid plays, I can see 6 games.
You're
for
liberal
Boston.
with
Paul
a sweep. I
George
respect
has
it.
he's great for this matchup, and I thought we saw that in this most recent playing game. If Embiid doesn't play, I'm going to say a very competitive 5 games.
This might be the best first round series of the playoffs. The Knicks versus the Hawks. There's a 60% chance on Polymarket that it's over 5.5 games, which means that the public believes that this is at the very least a 6-game series. At the very least, that's what the public thinks.
Because they think the Knicks can't handle their food.
I think that the Knicks should win this series pretty comfortably and pretty handily. Atlanta has been really good post All-Star break. I've also thought that they face a lot of weaker opponents, but they're a fast transition-paced style of offense. The matchups with the Knicks this year, there's been 3 of them. The first one was at Trae Young. The Knicks beat them. The last one, the Knicks won in a great game on that we saw on NBC. And then the second game, Cat didn't play, OG didn't play, Mitchell Robinson didn't play. The Knicks were injured. They didn't really have anybody that was out there, and the Hawks had everybody. So I don't think that there's much that we could take away from their season series outside of the last game that we just saw, which was close, and Atlanta played them tight. But I think that there's a couple things that I'm questioning about when I'm looking at Atlanta. How is Jalen Johnson going to play, especially in the half court as an offensive player? I think OG Anunoby's probably the matchup for him, and OG Anunoby's an all-league defender, and I think he can really make him struggle in this series. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that is going to be probably the Mikal Bridges assignment, and I think Mikal can play really well against him. The problem that Atlanta poses is that they have a multitude of offensive creators. They have 3 with Johnson, Nickeil, and CJ, and they can hunt Brunson defensively. So Brunson's definitely going to have to work in this series, but Brunson, for the most part, I mean, he plays physical. He takes charges. I mean, he's able to at least move laterally. He can't contest many shots, but he will show at least a semblance of effort. And I think the real difference in this series is the fact that the Hawks don't have a real legit front court. I think Onyeka is a good player, but he's undersized and he's more offensively slanted than defensively oriented at this point in his career. Coming out of college, he was a really talented defensive prospect. But now that he's not like that same imposing level of defender that he was coming out as a prospect. And I think Cat, who he plays really well against those smaller centers that he can bully. I think this is a great matchup for Cat. And I think this is a series where Cat should be the best player. You know that Jalen Brunson is going to show up. And I think even with Dyson Daniels guarding him, Brunson will still show up. But I think really the best player in that series, I think it should be Cat. And the Knicks are rolling. All the numbers point to them being way better this year than last year. Offensively, defensively, they got a better bench. And they closed out this season being one of the best teams in the NBA. And over the second half of the season, one of the best defenses. So I'm going with the Knicks in 6. I think that this will be a tough competitive series. I think most games should and will be close. But I think the half-court late-game execution I favor with the Knicks. And I think that's the difference in this series.
I'm going to go with the Knicks in a 5 or 6 game series for a similar sense as the previous matchup we're discussing, where they're just a clear advantage, I feel, in the half court for the Knicks comparatively to the Hawks. And I thought you made a great point in the sense that Onyeka Okongwu is not the best matchup for Karl-Anthony Towns. And I also look to this Knicks defense being able to step up and rise to a different level with OG and Mikal, alongside a very deep bench of different players who provide different value. And I believe that's going to give him a very firm spark in this matchup. And all season long, people have been questioning the Knicks because the Eastern Conference is wide open and they haven't had the emphatic 60-win season with these dominant victories, maybe the way Detroit has, right? But last year at this time, we had the same exact discussion, and they proceeded to not only beat the Celtics, well, before that, take care of business with the Pistons in a competitive 6-game series, but then beat a team in Boston that no one gave them a chance to beat. And so I look at this same exact blueprint of a Knicks team, and I believe that this year people are sleeping on them yet again because of the regular season, when the layout of this team, it's built to go on a conference finals run yet again.
Yeah, JC, what do you think?
So I was looking at the season matchups between these two teams. I think the games have been very close. But both times that the Knicks won, outside of the one game Atlanta won, they kind of blew the Knicks out. But I think this is a 6-game series for the New York Knicks. I think that they have the experience going in. I think they've been here. They've won multiple playoff series. They've improved as a team with under Mike Brown versus Thibodeau. And I don't know. I just the last game that you guys played, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, how much did he have? He went berserk. I agree with John. In the half court, they're not that good, as good as the Knicks. And there's just going to be a lot of Herculean efforts for them to kind of just to beat this Knicks team. I think this Knicks team has the better defense. I think they have the better half court offense. They have the experience. I do think it'll be a tough series because for whatever reason, the Atlanta Hawks play the Knicks really well, but you guys have shown to close out those games in higher leverage moments. You guys have obviously a clutch closeout player. Atlanta, I don't really know if they're in that tight situation. I don't really know if they have anybody that can go get a bucket like Jalen Brunson. Mitchell Robinson, I think he's going to be huge in this series as well, defending the paint. He's always really good. So I think this is going to be a 6-game series. I think the Hawks can win a couple games, but like I said, I trust the Knicks. Like John said, this team is built to make it to the conference finals. You guys have the closers. You guys have the better offense, the better defense. I trust the Knicks, so I'll take the Knicks in 6 games.
I'm also going to take the Knicks in 6. I think you hit it right in the head, Joel. I think that Karl-Anthony Towns needs to be the best version of himself, and I think he will be. I think it's going to be a tough series for Jalen Johnson on top of it, too. The fact that he has to go up against OG Anunoby, it's just an unfortunate first-round matchup for him, where I think Jalen Johnson has been sensational. I think he will inevitably be an All-NBA player this season. He is and has been the heart and soul, especially post-Trae Young trade, where you kind of thought this was a punted move, but in reality, the Hawks have just been able to handle business, and a lot of credit to the players on the roster. Jalen Johnson taking that responsibility of being the number one. Nickeil Alexander-Walker showing that there's so much in his bag that he hasn't been able to show because he's such a professional and is just so willing to adapt to a role. Now that he has this opportunity to be this creator, this offensive engine that he has been, this go get a bucket type dude, and has the capabilities to do that. One of the most lethal shooters in the NBA on top of that too. And then CJ McCollum just being such a model of consistency. When the Trae Young trade happened, I said it in the moment. This is a win for Atlanta because CJ McCollum has such a level of consistency to his offensive game that unfortunately for Trae Young, efficiency-wise, he struggles with. And I think that Trae Young has obviously high upside when it comes to leading high-level offenses because of how elite of a playmaker he is. And not that CJ McCollum is anywhere near the level of playmaker that Trae Young is, but CJ can handle his own there on that side. And you know the level of scorer that he is going to be. At minimum, he's an efficient, consistent player, a professional. And I think that in this series for Atlanta, that is my X factor. Because I can see them putting attention on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You mentioned it when we were doing short form, and it's true. Mikal Bridges is probably going to have that assignment of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and OG Anunoby is probably going to have that assignment of Jalen Johnson. What's the assignment for CJ McCollum? Is it Josh Hart? Is it going to be inevitably I get a switch onto Jalen Brunson, and now this is my matchup? I really can see CJ McCollum being the X factor for Atlanta in this. One, he has the experience. He's been here. He knows what it is to have these moments, to not play in the Garden. Obviously, that's a whole different vibe, a whole different mindset. But he's been in these situations where it's a gotta have a game, and he rises and he shows that he can be that type of basketball player. So I'm not gonna have this be a dog walk series for the Knicks. I do respect the Knicks too much to choose against them. The Knicks have been playing pretty good basketball, and in this series, they are just the better team. So give me the Knicks in 6.
Yeah, Atlanta's kind of sneaky too defensively with their matchups because you have Dyson on Jalen Brunson, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker can also take that responsibility if he needs a breather too.
For sure.
So they have the defensive players to match up with Brunson on the perimeter. It's really about the cat matchup, which is why like he is the most important player in the series for the Knicks because it's either Onyeka or Jalen Johnson. It's one of those two.
Another one it's Josh Hart is also an X factor in this series too. Is he going to be the guy that listen, this season he's hit the 3 ball at a great clip. Is that going to translate? Are you going to get that same level of disrespect that you've been getting in the regular season where people are begging you to shoot? If that's the case, are you knocking down your jump shot still? So Josh Hart, we know that he's a big heart and soul guy, big glue guy for the Knicks. He's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of opportunity to leave his mark on games. It's going to be a matter of if he does or not.
And the last Eastern Conference series is the Cavaliers versus the Raptors. 53% chance on Polymarket that this is over 5.5 games. So this is kind of like the public is split 50, on this. 50. Mm-hmm. They think that it's either a 5-game series, a gentleman's sweep, or it might go 6. I'm leaning more towards it's a gentleman's sweep. I think that the only way it goes 6 games is if we see Cleveland in real time try to iron out their chemistry, because Jared Allen, Mobley, Harden, and Mitchell, they haven't played all that much minutes this year. It's been under 100 minutes. They have 7 games worth of actual playing time. And versus a Raptors team that is very locked in defensively, that has that continuity, that could pose to be a challenge for Cleveland. But I just think that Cleveland's talent in this matchup is so overwhelming that they should win in 5. And I think that this series should be a statement win for a Cleveland team that they have aspirations to finally get the monkey off their back and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They have Donovan Mitchell. You have James Harden. You have Evan Mobley, who can guard Scotty Barnes on the other end, or Brandon Ingram, either or. Like, they have the defensive pieces to match up with Toronto. So I think that Cleveland should take care of business. Now, if they don't, and this series goes down to the wire, because Toronto does play with a lot of pace and they're very tough defensively, I think that's going to be more of a stain on Cleveland personally.
This is going to be an interesting matchup, and I expect the Raptors to slow down the series. Because in the half court, they don't have the cachet to keep up with this Cavaliers offense at all. They do have one of the best defenses in basketball, led by Scotty Barnes. And my biggest question is going to be, because I expect largely, I know what I'm going to get from Cleveland. I have no idea what I'm going to get from Brandon Ingram in this matchup. And I look at the half-court offense of the Raptors, how is he going to perform? Because that's going to be the biggest key for them, being able to keep up. I'm going to have the Cavaliers winning this series because I trust Harden, who still shot the ball quite well after that thumb issue, and Donovan Mitchell to be able to consistently churn out efficient offense. But I'm also recognizing that the Cavs don't have quite enough. Their biggest question to me is perimeter defense at any stage of the postseason. So who's going to be the best matchup for BI for Scotty Barnes? I expect Mobley to spend a lot of time between the two of them. But after that, your best defenders are Jalen Tyson and Keon Ellis, who's a guard, not going to really guard a Brandon Ingram a whole lot, and Dean Wade. So that's going to be fascinating to see how Kenny Atkinson is combating that issue. And I expect this to still go 5 or 6 games. And I do believe it's going to be such a slow pace and such a low scoring series that Toronto will keep things interesting. But in the end, I trust Cleveland's late game offense and execution.
I'm with you, John. I do think that I respect the Raptors defense enough to give them a game or two. I just think that the talent is a bit overwhelming on the Cleveland Cavaliers side. Now, I've continued to say this, and I will continue to say it again. This time of year is where we see the Cavaliers prove to be untrustworthy.
True.
This could be a tone setter, like you mentioned, Joel. Show that you are a different team now with James Harden. A little bit more trust that he can set that floor for you. A little bit more availability, even though he is playing through that thumb injury. He's been playing some fine basketball, and I think that there's a legitimate case to be made that he's an all-NBA player this season. He's had that good of a year. Donovan Mitchell's been arguably the best version of himself this year as well. It's just a matter of what are we getting from that front court with Mobley and a banged-up Jared Allen on top of it too. In this matchup, the defense is going to be so important for Toronto because that is what's been their Achilles. That's been their backbone this whole year, how elite that starting five defense has been. I just can't trust the consistency of that offense enough, which is it's unfortunate, but that's just an obvious statement to make for them. I'm going to take the Cavaliers. I'm leaning 5 games. I'm going to be transparent. I'm leaning 5. As much as I want to respect Toronto, they've had a really strong year, and I think defense translates. Defense in the playoffs translates, which is why now I'm giving them another game. I'm going Cavaliers in 6. I think that floor that they have defensively can get them a game or two. Ultimately, Cavaliers are just too talented.
Yeah, I might be in the minority with this. I could maybe see them getting 1 game, but like John said, I don't know what I'm gonna get from the Toronto Raptors in a half-court setting. Cleveland, on the other hand, they have an elite playmaker. They have one of the best playoff scorers of all time statistically. If you look at, I believe Donovan Mitchell's top 5 in playoff points per game. They have the lob threat. They have the rim protection, and they made this James Harden trade, to really go far in the playoffs. And it would be kind of like a bummer if this Toronto Raptors team really took them to the brink. So I'm just gonna lean on the veterans that the Toronto Raptors have. I like Kenny Atkins as a coach. I think he's gonna put his team in great positions offensively, defensively. Like I said, they have the 2-man tandem at the rim, and I think James Harden now he's gonna prove why the Darius Garland trade or upgrade why the upgrade is gonna be the determining factor. So I'm with John. I don't know if Toronto Raptors half court offense is any good. And I just trust Donovan Mitchell. I trust he's just one of the best playoff performers. So I'm going to be in a minority here, and I'm going to go for a sweep. I think that the Cavaliers have what it takes to sweep them. I think every game is going to be close. But like I said, the fourth quarter, the go-to scorers, I trust Donovan Mitchell and James Harden over Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes to close the game out just offensively. And if the games are going to be tight, I'm going to favor the team with the better offense and the better score. So I think a lot of these games are going to be tight, but I think Cleveland's going to close it. I got them in the sweep.
Now let's go on to the Western Conference. First round predictions for the West. OKC versus the Suns or Warriors. We touched on it earlier on the show. If it's the Suns, I think it's a sweep. If it's the Warriors, I think Steph Curry gets 1 game for the Warriors.
Just respect the legend.
Sure.
I give the Warriors a game. The OKC team is just at a different level.
Yeah.
It would be interesting from a matchup perspective. Is Draymond guard Shea, a little more J-Dub, Porzingis on Chet? Because stylistic perspective,
God bless.
Chet and Porzingis have some similarities, and then you have this veteran resolve with Horford. It kind of low-key felt like an out-of-body experience the way that he shot after starting the game last night. But that's what Horford can do.
I was just saying, it's the Al Horford experience. Is literally last night.
I'm not trying to disrespect him, but yeah, it was another example of why the Warriors cannot be slept on when Steph is playing at that high level. And then you have spacing around him to create these different advantages where you've got big switching onto him and pick and roll. So I would love to see the Warriors, and I would expect them to take a game from Oklahoma City in the first round.
Yeah, so I guess we're on agreed it's going to probably be the Warriors, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean,
listen,
I'm going to be honest with you. If the Warriors make it, maybe they can get 1 game, but I just don't see an avenue where the Warriors can produce elite offense against Cason Wallace, against Alex Caruso, against Jalen Williams, and then you have Chet Holmgren, who's also one of the best defensive players in the NBA. I just think that the defense and the swarming ability that the OKC Thunder have, I just think that it's just too much for Steph Curry at this age. He's been great this year. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to disrespect him. He's been amazing this year, but there's levels to this. This is the best defense, in my opinion, in the NBA. And I just think once your focal point offensively is kind of neutralized with all these perimeter defenders, I mean, who are we going to lean on outside of Steph Curry in this series? Like, who's another player that can get
Santos,
And who's going to be guarded Porzingis? Probably Chet Holmgren, one of the best defensive players. I just don't think there's an avenue. I think the defense is just going to suffocate Steph Curry. I think they're going to blow up a lot of their actions. And I think they're going to pick him up full court. I think they're going to make everything uncomfortable. Maybe Steph Curry has 1 out-of-body experience where he could get 1 game. But even then, I just think this is too much for this Golden State Warriors team to overcome without Jimmy Butler.
The frustrating thing for a 36-year-old Steph they have to face.
37. 37 or 38?
38.
Fact check me.
Damn.
They have to deal with Cason Wallace for 6-7 minutes. And then you've got Alex Caruso switching on to you, and then they come out, and then it's Lou Dort and Jalen Williams.
Oh my God, I forgot
and
about Lou
Chet
Dort.
Holmgren. Like, to deal with that for an entire game.
Nah.
Yeah, they
It's
might
just
get
absurd
swept too.
I think
Honestly,
I'm
Suns
leaning
and
towards a
Warriors might
sweep
both get
too.
swept.
I just respect their defense being able to rise it up in the postseason a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. Spurs versus the Blazers. Now on Polymarket, it's actually a 72% chance that it goes over 4.5 games. So it seems like the public is putting some respect on Deni Avdija, and the Blazers thinking that they could get one game against the Spurs.
What do you think, pal?
I'm going with a straight sweep. I'm going with the Spurs, Deni Avdija, 4 straight bad games.
What if he gets one good game?
Shout out to him.
Will you respect him?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
quite
Give-
literally,
give
all
me
we
one
need.
elite outing.
But he, what if he has an elite outing and loses? Respect?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that's all I
He
need.
just has to play well.
How would your hate for Deni Avdija compare to Trae Young in 2021 as a Knicks fan? If you're being honest.
Well, I hate Trae Young way more.
He
Okay.
loved Trae Young. Don't get it twisted.
But in 2021, he asked.
Yeah,
After that,
2021 specifically, in that moment to now.
yeah, the wound
He
healed
did
already
hate
after
Trae
that.
Young. You're right. Now
Yeah.
that I'm remembering. That being said, I am going to be one of those people. I do believe they get a game.
Yeah, I mean, they can. I mean, they have defenders. They have a multitude of solid players, scorers. Like, Shaden Sharp can maybe get a microwave game where he's, like, just ridiculously hot. You know, I think they have the makings there to be competitive in this series. And San Antonio is relatively unproven. I mean, this is the first time in the postseason with this group as well. So we don't know what we're going to get from them. And this is definitely not a matchup that they can just overlook.
I love a good tone setter for the Spurs as well. You're not getting a matchup that you're just going to absolutely walk through, especially a defensive team that's going to test you. The one question I guess you could have about the Spurs is, how is this offense going to look? Victor going up against Klingon. Klingon's a guy that you have to respect on the defensive side of the ball, but you anticipate that Wemby still should get his. And then De'Aaron Fox going up against Drew Holiday. I doubt that maybe Kamara will switch on to him on top of it too. They have some really strong perimeter defenders, so I do think that this series is going to be catered to Wemby, which if you are a Spurs fan, that's kind of what you want. You want him to come out, set tone for his playoff career, the start to his career in the playoffs, be that you lean on his shoulders and he goes out there and he produces at this high level. So it's going to be one that I'm sure the Spurs fans are looking forward to. Also, a lot of memes have been said about the first matchup for both Scoot Henderson and Victor Wembanyama, both their first times in the playoffs.
He's in Dylan Harper talks now. He got to match up with Dylan Harper off the bench and show something, man.
Scoot's been playing okay since coming back from injury this season. The efficiency's been bad, but one thing he's been showing has been the defense. The defense has been really, really high level, and I wonder if Drew Holiday has been the one kind of coaching him, being in his ear about that too.
The
So-
big benefit of having him and Dame.
Let me ask you guys a question. Take out Wemby from the Spurs and take out Deni from the Blazers. What roster is better? The Spurs or Blazers?
The
You said
Spurs.
what?
Spurs, easily.
What roster is better if you take Deni away from the Blazers and you take Wemby away from the Spurs?
The Spurs.
Oh,
is,
the
it,
Spurs.
is it still the
Awesome.
Spurs roster easily,
For
comfortably?
sure, comfortably.
The Spurs
Yeah.
still barely lost
They're a
games
deep
while Wemby
roster.
missed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
They're
a deep.
great
They're
without
just
Wemby
deep.
still.
They're a deep roster.
You know,
You have
I-
Dylan Harper off the bench. and
Dylan
everything.
Harper off the bench.
Yeah,
bro.
they're
He'd
just their
averaging
bench
18
production and
on a
everything.
wild
Like
card
it's
team.
just.
On
This
decent
is
efficiency.
the Blazers have the perimeter defenders to really make life tough on De'Aaron Fox. And I feel like more than
Holiday?
anything, I'm really paying attention to De'Aaron Fox in this series. And you're getting paid a
Me
lot of money.
too.
You're the second option. You need to perform. And last time we saw you in the playoffs, you did perform at a high level. But this is different. You know, Portland has some really good defenders who they just made Devin Booker struggle, albeit one game.
Mhm.
They made it really tough. So I think De'Aaron Fox, he has to show up in a big way. I really don't have any concerns about Wemby. I think Klingon will pose as a good matchup against them. But overall, like Portland, they have the defenders to make you feel good about certain matchups. The difference is really just one team has Wemby and one team just doesn't, at least in my opinion.
Well, the Spurs supporting cast, I feel, is going to make a really meaningful difference in this game. I understand a lot of these players have not played in the postseason before, but Stephon Castle is a player who will rise to the moment. And I believe he's going to give Deni Avdija a really tough time being able to fight through screens.
Thank
there may
God.
not be anyone in basketball better at fighting over screens and bringing that physicality. And then you look at the supporting cast, I believe that De'Aaron Fox bringing that veteran experience and that leadership is going to really make a difference for a young San Antonio team to be prepared and to not take this series lightly. Because Portland has a lot of really good players in the squad. And then beyond that, just the depth. I mean, to have a guy like Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, Kellen Johnson as complementary pieces, they can all leave their imprint. And I feel like each of those players just brings a higher gear to them than Portland's bench. And that's why I'm torn. I could see the Spurs sweeping for sure. And I'm torn between a sweep and a gentleman sweep where the Blazers miraculously get a game here. Because I feel like the disparity between these two teams, it's pretty steep.
Yeah.
Nuggets versus Timberwolves, 57% chances over 5.5 games. So the public is expecting this to be a 6-game series, very competitive. I just think that Minnesota is running into the best possible version of Denver at the worst time.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is ramping back up, returning from an injury. We'll see like how elite he's going to play in a series, but the Denver Nuggets are the best 3-point shooting team in basketball. 3-point percentage alone, they're the best, but if you look at their off the dribble 3-point shooting, their catch and shoot 3-point shooting, like all of like the layers of 3-point shooting, they are the best.
You see Cam Johnson over these last like 40-ish games. He's shooting, was it 44, 45% from three?
He's been unbelievable. And then you have Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench, who's also a sniper. Like the Denver Nuggets are just clicking at the right time. And I think that they have the depth. They have Jokic and Jamal Murray. Now it's like we're heading into the postseason, not guessing that he will raise his game to superstar levels, but we're like kind of under the expectation he should be that.
Just play how you've played all year.
Exactly. He should play how he's all year
level this year.
Exactly. So I feel like this is the best version of Denver. We did it in short form content, but this is my pick to win the NBA championship. I just feel like they're the best version of themselves now.
Yeah, and a cool stat that I saw this week that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jamal Murray are the first set of teammates, the only set of teammates not named Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to hit 223s in the season, and also making them at an above 40% clip. And Tim Hardaway Jr. is someone who's been indispensable for the Nuggets, but then you have this extra layer where it's him and Cam Johnson. I believe that a nice element of this matchup, getting back Payne Watson, Spencer Jones, they're expecting for game one. But then also Aaron Gordon, it's the deepest Nugget team. It's the best 3-point shooting. It's the best version of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And no players improve more from the last time they played than Jamal Murray. Not having Karl-Anthony Towns defend Nikola Jokic, okay, well, since then, Jokic has averaged 35 points, 12 and 7. And Jamal Murray, I believe, is going to have an easier time in the preparation for Jaden McDaniels because you add in a player like Bruce Brown, who I think is going to make a difference in the series as a screener. His ability to slip and that telepathy he has Nikola Jokic. We saw that in their most recent matchup on March 1st where they're running these Spain pick and rolls. They're having these design actions where Bruce Brown is creating chaos. And that's exactly where Nikola Jokic thrives. I expect the Nuggets to frustrate this Minnesota team. We saw last time Rudy Gobert foul out because Nikola Jokic drew 3 loose ball fouls on Rudy Gobert. And if Gobert fouls out of this matchup, can you imagine? They would have no prayer for defending this Denver team because Julius Randle would not be able to defend him one-on-one. I think we'll see a lot of Kyle Anderson in this matchup. This is someone they can put in front of him so Gobert can be off the ball. And neither can Naz Reid really at this point with the way he's defended this year while dealing with a shoulder injury truly be one that I'm confident in defending Nikola Jokic. So I'm going to take the Nuggets in 6 games, maybe 5, but I have the Nuggets as my team that's going to prove everybody wrong and put it all together and go on a championship run. I saw it a few years ago when it wasn't the same path. It was a much easier path. Right now, they're going to have the toughest test to go to the NBA Finals. But I know one thing for sure is that this team is good enough to make that run, and we're going to watch it on display in round 1.
You think people are hating on the Nuggets?
People are sleeping a little bit because of the fact we have not seen this entire group together. And I've slept on them too, because this season I've seen this team when they weren't healthy barely get by tanking teams like the Grizzlies. But I know for sure when you get these players back into the mix and you have these 2-star players ascending to this level with this amount of depth, that they're going to prove everybody wrong.
You know, thus far, Denver is kind of like all season long, they haven't been as consistent as OKC or San Antonio. But at their best, it feels like they're just as good. And right now, the way I feel about this matchup, based on all our predictions for the playoffs, I think we've called every series the same in the East and thus far in the West. We haven't predicted an upset. It's because I really don't see one right now in this first round bracket. And if you ask me, you can only pick one option. This series, Nuggets and Timberwolves goes to 7, or it ends in 5, I would be more inclined to say it ends in 5. I think Denver is just the superior team right now. And I know that Minnesota in the past has had their number, but this feels more like Minnesota's first matchup against Denver in the postseason when they lost in 5 than the last time they played where they took them to the wire in 1-7. Like this Denver team and the way that Minnesota like has been so inconsistent all year long, I just think that Denver, like I would not be shocked at all if they take care of business relatively quickly. I'll give Minnesota respect and say it'll be 6 because I love Anthony Edwards, and in the postseason, we know he's one of the best performers. But Denver, they're a well-oiled machine right now. You like 12-game win streak heading into the postseason. Like I think this team, they can really make a statement early on and take care of business.
And it's the only reason why I really had this going to 6. I look at Aaron Gordon on Julius Randle being able to match that physicality, and they have Ayo Dosunmu to come in and place Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Still don't think he's as good of a matchup on Jamal. And Jaden McDaniels, and I believe they're going to make them move as much as possible defensively to wear them out just a little bit.
What do you think, JC?
Well, I kind of do agree with you guys as well. I kind of do have the Denver Nuggets winning. Nuggets are coming into the playoffs hot. They won 12 games. They're leading the NBA in 3-point percentage. They got Aaron Gordon back. You saw Aaron Gordon's versatility again in that San Antonio game, being able to guard De'Aaron Fox, being able to guard Victor Wembanyama on that final possession. So they get him back. Offensively, Jamal Murray's been fantastic this year. He's having a career year. We know that he comes and shows up come playoff time. Cam Johnson has found his stride the last 40 games. Like Drew said, shooting, I believe, over 40%. They have the best player, in my opinion, still in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, who is a threat to have an efficient triple-double and just pick apart any defense. I've seen him for many years now be able to absolutely destroy Rudy Gobert, so that's absolutely not a problem with me. He's the smartest player in the NBA. I think one of you said that you're going to see more Kyle Anderson or whatever the case may be, and maybe have Rudy Gobert roam off ball. Nikola Jokic would end up solving that because he has such a high IQ. So I think they have the best player in the series going in. I think they're clicking at the right cylinder. They've won 12 games offensively. They have the best 3-point percentage. They've got Aaron Gordon coming back. One more thing. Is Payne Watson going to be available at all during this series? Or
they're hoping he comes back for game 1. Maybe he's on this.
That's another body that they have. I think they're a superior team. I think they're clicking at the right time. This is also my pick to win the NBA championship. And I'm going to say that I think that they win, I want to say in 5 games. I think the Nuggets make a statement and win in 5 games.
This has just been a team that historically has played the Nuggets well. Minnesota, unfortunately, is not the same team that we've seen in years past. I will say that's mainly because Anthony Edwards is not at 100%. And if he were, I'd be really inclined to think about this. I think the issue just becomes that, again, we're watching the best version of the Denver Nuggets. And when this series went to 7 and Minnesota ended up coming out victorious, I think that we watched a banged-up Nuggets team. On top of it, Jokic kind of being human for the first time in his playoff career, where he kind of allowed
Alex Caruso,
Cat and Gobert to keep him away from the basket. He settled for a bunch of jump shots. He did not make a lot of them. I think he shot 2 for 10, if I'm not mistaken. It was just a situation where Jokic allowed Minnesota to alter his game, which 9 out of 10 times we don't see happen. Jokic does what he wants to do, and he does not change that for anybody. But in this matchup, I don't think that we're going to see the offense struggle too much because, again, this has just been such a consistent, well-oiled machine over this last month, 2 months of the season. They've gone up against high-level competition, and we've seen them more often than not come out on the other side victorious. Jamal Murray, to me, will be the X factor for the continuation of this playoffs. We've seen the heights that the Nuggets have been able to reach while Jamal Murray has been that superstar in the playoffs. The first time was a WCF where they fell short to the Los Angeles Lakers. The second time was a title. And when he has not been that Jamal Murray, we've seen them disappoint us. Last year, Game 7, unfortunately, they fall short to Oklahoma City. Aaron Gordon banged up. That Game 7 was very ugly, but a good series nevertheless. And the series before that, in Game 7, Jamal Murray kind of went ghost on us in the second half. And so I look at this postseason run, and I can understand where you guys are coming from, where this has been the best 3-point shooting team in the league. You have Tim Hardaway having a renaissance to his career.
Aaron Gordon back.
You have Aaron Gordon, who we know is a great defender, a solid playoff performer in his own right. What version of Christian Brown are you going to get? Peyton Watson coming back from his injury too. What version of him are you going to get? I can understand. I can see the vision of choosing this team to be your champion. It's not the direction I'm going to go towards just because, again, I just trust Oklahoma City. But again, in this series, I don't doubt them. I think that they'll be able to get the job done. In 6 games, that's how I see it. It's just going to be all on Jamal Murray, who I think should be the big star in this series. Jokic is going to be Jokic. But I think Jamal will be the difference in what takes him over the top and dominates.
The last Western Conference series is the Lakers versus the Rockets. 53% chance on Polymarket. It's over 5.5 games. Not sure if the public is feeling better about the Rockets or the Lakers in this matchup. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say it's the Rockets. No Reeves. We don't know when Luka's coming back. This is where I'm at with the Lakers. If Luka doesn't come back until game 4, they will be down 0-3.
Jesus Christ.
The Rockets will not allow LeBron and bums to get a game against them. The Rockets are playing really good. They've had a chaotic season to where they look terrible in stretches, and then as of recently, they've kind of started to figure things out a bit. This is not a series in which Alperen Şengün's defensive liability is going to be a huge concern, because there's nobody that really threatens you. Asar Thompson can guard LeBron James. Yeah. They have the defenders to guard LeBron to neutralize him. And LA doesn't have enough 3-point shooting or a real interior presence that scares you. Like DeAndre Ayton can't even catch the ball right. He bobbles passes all the time. Like, I saw LeBron James give one of his best performances of this season to the Mavericks.
We were on the road.
And they lost. They lost to one of the worst teams in basketball.
Road game.
I think if Luka doesn't come back, at least in game 2, the series is over.
We're going down 0-2 in the crypt?
Yes. If Luka doesn't play, it's over. It's over. He might as well not even come back if you're down 0-2 in the series.
Are you going to walk back LeBron not being top 50?
Yeah, he is top 50.
All right. Then I can accept where you're coming from. Nevertheless, I go down with the ship. You wanted us to have a different...
This is the one.
I don't care.
This is the one.
I'm going to choose my Los Angeles Lakers. It is what it is. Now, here's the way that it happens. I'll draw out the picture for you if you want it. The Rockets' offense has been inconsistent all season long. Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. He's going to get his. But the rest of the team is where every question should stem from. The lack of shooting that this team has is a genuine problem. Now, rebounding the basketball, they're damn good at it. Steven Adams, losing him, unfortunately, for them, was definitely a big bummer. One of the best offensive rebounders in the game. Even still with that, they finished number 1 in offensive rebounds this year. 9th in defensive rebounds. But it's still a really strong this is really a strong rebounding team. Because it's a team full of size. The issue is, they can't shoot the basketball. They lack consistent playmaking because they don't have a true point guard. So offense can get tricky, and I've seen JJ already outsmart them in a few games that we've played this season because they just don't have the type of initiators to consistently have efficient basketball played. They do have an elite scorer in Kevin Durant. They probably are the more talented team. We are the better coach team. I think that LeBron James needs respect. We're not going down 0-3. That's for damn sure. And if Luka Doncic comes back at any point in this series, the Lakers will win and everybody will turn their tide on it. That's 100% the truth. And it'll be allowed. It's fair. I'm not going to be like, I told you so, because that has been a huge question mark anyways. It's a grade 2 hamstring. It's more likely that he doesn't play than does play. I think that if you're a Lakers fan, you want him to probably sit out because you want him to be the healthiest possible. This is already a year where you're not anticipating the Lakers can win a championship, given the fact that how we've looked so horrendously against Oklahoma City, against the Spurs. We look pretty damn good against the Nuggets, but against the 1 and 2 seed, we haven't looked the best. Nevertheless, it's one of LeBron's last rides. And I think that Luka will try and gut it out for LeBron. If he should, if he shouldn't, different conversation. But this is one of LeBron's last years of contending for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that this is going to end up being his last year in a Los Angeles Laker uniform. And I'm not going to watch him go out without a win. That's for damn sure. So I'm taking my guys.
You know, it's like if this Lakers team was like this exact team that we're seeing them go into the playoffs against Houston with, if this is the roster they've had all season, they would be in contention for having a top 5 pick in basketball. That's how bad I think this team is right now.
Mhm.
With like just like no Luka, no Reeves. The Rockets have their flaws for sure. They are still a playoff basketball team. I don't think the Lakers are without Reeves and Luka.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
The roster is trash. It really sucks. I think the X factor.
Why are you talking like Luke Kennard hasn't been hooping? Why are you talking like Rui Hachimura hasn't been one of the most knockdown shooters in basketball? End the list.
I look at the Rockets and my X factor for them is really Reed Shepherd. I think Reed Shepherd, his spacing is very valuable to what Houston needs to do offensively. So, like, yeah, the last time we saw Houston and the Lakers match up, they trapped KD and they really embarrassed them. But the matchup not too long ago, which was on Christmas, no, the Rockets completely embarrassed the Lakers. They looked like they were in a different class athletically.
We played back-to-back. We beat them both games. On Christmas Day, we got smoked.
I look at that matchup, and I feel like that's more of an indication of how this series is going to look without Luka and Reeves.
Also, 3 games to end the year, we went 3-0. We lost to the Mavericks on the road, and we lost 2 times to the Thunder.
Well, the real question is who performs better, KD or LeBron?
What do you think?
I think KD performs better.
All right, we'll find out.
One thing which is fascinating about this match,
Just like he performed better in the 2018 finals, baby.
Congrats. He literally...
And in 2017.
Genuinely, no one
only
cares.
took the best team
No
of all
one
time.
cares.
With Luka and Austin Reeves off the floor this year, the Lakers have a near neutral net rating. And that's shocking to me, in part because in those lineups, you're either going all defense and no shooting with the Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, or Jared Vanderbilt machination, or you're going all offense, absolutely no defense of Luke Kennard and Rui Hachimura being like your second best defender on the perimeter. And to me, without Luke and Austin Reeves, you don't have enough offense, have a balance, a nice blend in your lineups. And I believe it really throws everything out of sorts. The biggest X factor for the Lakers is going to be DeAndre Ayton because they're going to need him to step up more than anyone else in this series.
Dominating.
Yeah.
Buy in.
And
You were here with us. Buy in.
Well, see, he's
Dominating-
averaged 20 and 10 against Şengün.
He
that might be one
averages
of
20
the few nicknames that's just completely used in jest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Yo, dominating goes out there and hoops against the Rockets. Trust me, you will still be welcome in the parade.
A+ move.
You will still be here.
I love it.
promise I won't allow anybody to slander your name. You will be allowed on.
If DeAndre Ayton dominates the series,
It's gonna be awesome. First off, Şengün fans in the gutter.
yeah.
In the gutter.
No, that would be
I could see
embarrassing.
him dog him.
No, I could see it too. I definitely could see, like, can DeAndre Ayton not average 20 and 10 in this series?
Can DeAndre Ayton outplay Alperen Şengün in this series? Yes.
I'm not entertaining this. The funny part, or not the funny part.
You're not entertaining it. Why
The-
not?
Because I really can't see it happening for
Really?
a full 48 minutes. There will be moments, there will be highs. Like DeAndre Ayton was really engaged those few possessions, and he made a big difference. And then there's going to be a
He
lull
closed
in the
out that game
stretch.
versus the Rockets not too long ago.
Yeah.
He did.
There's also games too where they have to close out with Jackson Hayes on the floor instead. He's a better defender.
Jackson Hayes is a good player.
And
Is he not?
the interesting part about this, I shouldn't say interesting either. Luka Doncic was in a similar boat in 2022 and he missed start of that Utah Jazz series, and Jalen Brunson just went turbo, and the Mavericks won 2 of their first 3 games in that series.
He's cooking.
Here's the issue: the Lakers don't have Jalen Brunson coming off the bench.
We have fucking LeBron.
Yes, but I'm
Here's
talking
the
about
issue.
players
You
stepping up.
don't have Jalen Brunson, who was averaging 18 at the time. No, we have LeBron James, who's averaging 26, 8, and 7 when Reeves and Luka don't play.
I'm talking about like a player off the bench. But you're 100% right.
What do you mean?
1,000%.
Wait, didn't
right.
Brunson start those
He's
games? Though?
starting.
He did start those
Okay.
games, but someone who rose above being a part-time.
Well,
starter.
LeBron could be that. I just don't envision it because, I mean, Utah
But
was
you don't think
weaker.
he's a top 20, top 50 player in the NBA?
Utah's perimeter defense was whack. Like, LeBron's gonna have to get his game off against a men.
So, or be honest with me. Be honest with me.
Can he do it? Yes.
love
Will
it.
it be tough? Yes.
Don't love it.
It's at end of the day, say his name.
I get it. It is the greatest basketball player of all time at 41 going up against Amen Thompson at the peak of his
It is
defensive.
the playoffs, my brother in Christ.
With either no spacing or no defensive support next to him. This isn't LeBron
Please
with a good
respect Luke
supporting
Kennard.
cast.
I'm begging you.
I'm going to be so real at you in the playoffs, brother. We're good off that.
How do you
We're
know?
So
How do you
good
know?
off that.
How do you know? How do you know?
When was the last time you saw him play more than 20 minutes in a playoff series?
This
Give
is
me
the
that.
first player in a
Never
long
seen
time.
it.
It's the
You've
first
never
player in a
seen it.
long time that
Why?
we've
Because
seen.
Memphis could never play him for more than 20 minutes, and he can hardly close. LeBron with a great supporting cast, yeah, I could see him playing great, but with this support, you're not going to see that.
Luke Kennard has been the best version of himself, hands down.
Doesn't change who he is as a basketball player.
Why are you
The
sleeping?
same weaknesses that held him back from being a true starter in Memphis or any other stop. It's, brother, in this series, it's going to be so clearly the Lakers are completely outmatched and LeBron's going and playing 1v4, what it feels like, because you don't have anyone that can alleviate the pressure, especially when he's off the floor. It's going to be a total train wreck. Total train wreck.
When
with
he's
him
off the floor, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
No way around it.
Who's the ball handler? Who's the primary creator of
Marcus
LeBron's
Smart.
offense?
Luke Kennard.
No, dead ass. Dead ass.
Okay.
Luke Kennard.
Have fun with that.
Bronny James minutes. Here
I'm
we come.
excited. He's gonna play.
You got the Rockets in 5?
I got the Rockets sweeping, bro. Like
Jesus
bro,
Christ.
bro.
What?
The roster around LeBron James
Sweep.
is ass. They're ass. Nobody can create their own shot.
Why are we the 3rd seed? We're not. Why are we the 4th seed? Luka
Bro,
Doncic.
Yeah, I was about to say Luka,
Sorry,
Reeves, LeBron. Bro, the roster around him is ass. He's 41.
What's our
You're
record
gonna
without Luka?
ask a 41-year-old to up his usage percentage against one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Look, I'm not gonna be these guys. I think LeBron James is gonna do his thing. There's plenty of ways that you can get Thompson off you, either pick and roll, whatever the case may be. Having LeBron come off ball sometimes, because I've seen in some instances where Luke Kennard can be a decent playmaker. But I mean, bro, there's no defense out there for LeBron. Like LeBron, who's the best defender of the Lakers right now?
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart, right? Oh, and who do you guys think he's going to be guarding? Kevin Durant? Is he going to guard Kevin Durant? That already right there is not a good matchup. Offensively, they don't have any pieces. LeBron's
What if
41.
LeBron defended KD?
And what about the offense?
We're fried.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's unfortunate. Had you guys been healthy, I would have picked you guys to win, but that's just not the reality
What if
right
they
now.
do the honorable thing? We're steering so far away from serious basketball talk, and I apologize to our offense. What if, to our audience, what if for a whole series, LeBron and KD just had a gentleman agreement? Hey, let's go one-on-one the whole game, the whole series.
KD's going to fry him.
Let's just me versus you.
KD's going to cook him.
48 minutes or whenever we're on the court. Nobody else picks me up.
Hey, yo,
Nobody
Drew.
else picks you up.
Drew.
It's just me versus you.
Drew, there's no way that you think that you guys are like gonna be able to compete in this series, right? It's all just like blind faith, right? There's just no way, right?
Why are we dick sucking the Rockets like
Bro,
they're this end-all, be-all
the Rockets,
team?
their last 10 games going into the playoffs, they're 9-1.
It's April.
They're fucking
literally
healthy.
Mr.
They are the
April, bro.
healthy team.
All right, no,
You
I'm
are
Mr.
Mr.
April
If
when it comes to role players.
If LeBron's not on this team, you're not picking the Lakers. Everybody knows
Of course,
that, bro.
because
Of
LeBron
course.
James
Bro, he's
is
41.
LeBron James.
He's 41.
Age means nothing.
It
Curry
absolutely
is 38.
means everything. There's going to
Curry
be
is
moments where he
38.
needs to sit out of the game. And what the hell is going to happen when he's not in the game?
That is the big concern, and
You
that
guys
I
are
will
going to
agree.
get smoked, bro. Swept. You guys are going to
Swept.
get blown out every game. Who's
How much do you
generating?
want to put on it that we don't get swept?
I'll
wanna put
put
100
I'll put 50
cash?
on it right now.
That will get swept?
I
I
love
put
this.
50 on it
I
right
love
now.
this.
But here's the thing. If Luka and them come back now, this is LeBron, right? LeBron only that you're not getting swept. I'll put 100 on it.
All right,
I'll put
fine.
100 on it.
All right,
I
love
bet.
this.
Copy.
Swept?
Without Luka,
To the
bro,
Rockets.
LeBron's been swept before, bro. Like, why are we acting
To
like that? Like he hasn't
Denver.
been swept,
To the Denver
bro.
Nuggets.
The Rockets are healthy.
We're
They are
talking
the
about that
healthy
When he had
team.
AD and Austin Reeves.
No. We
Where
shouldn't
is
have
the
gotten swept. We
offense
did.
gonna come from? Fucking DeAndre Ayton? Are you serious right now?
Let's see how this
Come
ages.
on,
No, it's
bro.
gonna be a Luke Kennard offense.
Yo,
for
I'm gonna
40
be
minutes.
tight because watch these motherfuckers get a game on some weird shit, bro. I don't even
It's
know why I just took
LeBron.
that dumbass bet, bro. But
It was.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't see it, bro. I'm gonna say to my guys, y'all getting swept, bro. Y'all might get blown out every game, bro.
I'll say
Respectfully.
this too.
Not gonna be LeBron's
when
fault,
we do
though.
win a game, I'm not gonna take your 100.
Nah, hell no. Because if y'all don't win the game, I want my 100.
I know I will give
Yeah,
it to
nah,
you because
yeah, nah, we good, bro.
again, I'm
We
not
locked
gonna
in.
be. It'll be
locked
the
in.
least surprising thing when we win a
We
game.
locked in. We locked in.
It's gonna be a funny
And they're
series.
definitely a lot more surprising than you saying April runs don't matter.
No,
I'm
I
not
didn't say that.
No,
For
you
team
said it was April
basketball,
runs.
for team
Like, we're
basketball,
solving that.
for team basketball,
I won't forget that.
April runs don't matter.
I'm
For
clipping that.
role players, which I believe, Austin Reeves, the hope and belief was built on an April run game versus your Denver Nuggets when he dropped 30 and a triple-double. For role players, it matters because that's where you get playtime. That's where you actually show what you have to the league. Guy Santos in this last month showed that he's a legitimate NBA player. When it comes to team basketball, I don't really care.
First 2 games are in LA, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, if y'all definitely lose those 2, you're getting
If we
swept.
lose the first
You're getting
2,
swept.
we're
You're getting
cooked.
Yeah, it's probably
You're getting fucking
We're
swept.
not
Jeez.
losing the first 2.
What game are you gonna win? 1 or 2?
Game 1.
Okay.
Set tone. But I mean, game 1, LeBron, that's a fill-out game.
LeBron game 1
Always
dropped
a fill-out
51
game.
against the Warriors, bro. He's
They
LeBron.
lost.
They still lost.
Yo,
We
Roy-
lost because that roster was
That's
going
Wait,
up
what-
against the Warriors.
Wait, what game?
Game
Game
1
one,
against the
yeah,
Warriors in the
51.
2018
51
finals.
and eight.
Oh, when he had
Yeah,
51,
swept.
it's 8 and 8. Yeah. This
20
roster's more
2018
ass than that.
Warriors.
No,
This
it's
roster is
not.
way
Yeah,
more
it's
ass
so
than
much
that,
more
and you
ass.
had
You're just
fucking
not playing the
2018
2018
LeBron
They
James.
had at least Kevin
You
Love.
had 2018
You're
LeBron
right.
James,
No, this
man.
supporting cast can't hold a candle
I'm
to that
sorry,
team.
bro.
Let me be so real with
Okay,
you.
Drew, I'm sorry. It's
Who's our
unfortunate.
second best player?
Where?
That team in 2018, Kevin Love.
Okay,
Kevin Love was an All-Star that year. He was.
he was so dog shit.
He was an All-Star that year.
No.
He was
There ain't no
bad.
All-Star on his team right now.
Do you remember the graphic? It was Tristan
Kyle
Thompson
Korver.
and who?
Kyle
And
Korver.
Kyle Korver,
They
right?
disrespect. They should have. They were dick riding. They should have put Kevin Love. I
That
don't know
shit
why
was
the
funny.
fuck did they like.
That shit
They
was
just put fucking.
Because
Come on,
Kevin
bro.
Love was fucking ass. He was ass.
Kevin Love would be the second best offensive player on this Lakers
2018
team
Kevin
right
Love?
now.
Maybe.
I'm not gonna lie. If this team had Kevin Love like 2018 Kevin Love,
was an all-star,
y'all
by the
probably
way.
win the series.
Oh,
With
Win
LeBron.
the series?
I don't know. Look, I don't know.
Maybe it
With
goes-
41-year-old LeBron? Shit. Maybe.
It's unfortunate though. It's. I do think that LeBron's gonna play well though. It's LeBron James. He steps up in the playoffs. There's, like I said, there's many ways that you can draw up schemes. JJ Redick's a good offensive coach. There's many ways you could draw up schemes to get Eamon Thompson off of LeBron James. Like I'm saying, have him play more off ball, pick
Keep
and roll.
aiming on him.
Yeah, he could score. I'm not saying he can't, but you know, this is LeBron, bro. He's gonna perform. If LeBron is like terrible, every game's a blowout. Every game's a
Do
blowout.
you see that? Do you see LeBron being terrible?
I could see LeBron playing great, and you guys still getting blown out though.
Blown out.
I just could, bro. This team's not good,
Talking
bro.
about the Rockets like they're this fucking.
No, I'm talking about
Well,
the
we're
Rockets
saying
like
they
they're
are
playing the
52
bum
win team
ass
with-
Lakers.
They are a 52 win team, which
They're
is
playing the bum ass Lakers. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. If you guys had like Austin Reeves, you know, you could talk me into. Come on,
Yeah.
bro. You don't have none of these guys, bro.
I would take you off, yeah, Luka. And
Oh, with Luka
even
LeBron.
without AR,
yeah.
Luka, I would probably
Yeah.
blame Lakers. But they're a 52 win team that's healthy. You are a 50 win team, which is without its 2 best players on a very top heavy cast. Sorry.
It's unfortunate.
It
sucks.
does suck.
It
I
sucks
really wish
bad.
they were healthy.
And that's
terrible.
where we're gonna wrap up the show here. It was a pleasure having you guys on. We're gonna get into NFL draft needs next episode on Monday to gear up for the NFL draft that is on Thursday. First round. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Only other news I think to talk about is Luka and Cade are now eligible for NBA awards.
I like that.
Anthony Edwards is not. He filed an appeal and it got denied.
Damn.
Because
No
they
motion.
Luka had the birth of his child, so they used that. It was enough of an excuse to be like, okay, you can be eligible. And Cade, because he had a collapsed lung and they deemed it not a basketball injury, he also got the pass. And Anthony Edwards' agent argued that Anthony Edwards had an infection and he was sick, so he should also get the benefit of the doubt
Reach.
and be eligible for the awards. I do believe that if Cade and Luka are getting the exemption, then so should Ant.
Yeah,
honestly.
the difference of 3 games played is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that Ant should get the same exception, but his agent came out with a statement that Ant's not tripping about it. That, you know, he just only cares about a ring. So it's funny. And then NFL stuff, just Dexter Lawrence. We don't know what's happening with him and the Giants. He might get traded,
Apparently
he might
it's
not.
cooked.
Apparently, yeah, it does seem like that
Broncos.
relationship is done
Imagine.
for. And Dexter Lawrence should be a hot commodity. I mean, he's Dexter Lawrence.
Yo, do you think the Broncos can make that?
Nah. Y'all got Zach Allen, bro. Y'all don't need him.
Good point.
It feels a lot like the Myles Garrett situation, where if you gave him a top of the market contract extension, I can't see him saying no to that.
It would also be a
Especially
smack
when
in
the
the
Giants
face
are
to
turning the corner.
JFM.
I think that the Giants just don't want to give him a top of the line market contract.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You know,
That's fair, especially after this past season he just had.
Yeah, he wasn't the best version of himself. So I think I can be talked into this being a good move for the Giants if they get a first-round pick and a second-round pick back. We saw Quentin Williams go for a first and I think another like second or third. Dexter Lawrence's value should be around the same. I don't see a team giving up 2 firsts for Dexter Lawrence, but I look at the Chicago Bears as probably the best suitor. You give up your pick in the 20s and you give up a second or third rounder, and now you add in Dexter Lawrence. And the Bears, I think, are a prime regression candidate because of the turnovers that they had and the one-score games. The best way to not regress in that manner is to add an impact player like Dexter Lawrence. And Dexter Lawrence instantly makes the Bears defensive line like so much more respectable. I mean, they were towards the bottom of the league in pass rush win rate, run stop win rate. So they desperately need somebody like Dexter Lawrence. And if the Giants get a first round pick and another pick, I mean, with the 5th overall pick, you draft Sonny Styles. With that pick in the 20s, you draft an interior defensive lineman to plug up that hole up front. Won't be Dexter Lawrence, but it'll at least be another talented player being brought onto the team. And then with your other draft picks, you make good moves. Like, I mean, I can see this move also panning out for the Giants if they draft well, and also not giving that type of money to Dexter Lawrence and being able to use that money in other places on the roster will also help them too. So I can see it from both sides. Like, I think Dexter Lawrence is obviously super impactful to New York and what they're trying to do, but if they trade him, I don't think it'd be the end of the world either.
Because they're a young roster. I agree with you.
Yeah. You know, but Dexter Lawrence, I mean, I feel like the Bengals should be in on it.
Easily.
The Bears should be in on it. After the Bengals signed Boye Mafe, I think if they added Dexter Lawrence to their defense, that defensive line now becomes like at least respectable. Like, it becomes good. So
gives you hope for Shamar.
Yeah, it gives me hope for the Bengals making the playoffs next year.
We got ways to go.
Like, it gives me hope because
secondary still needs help.
The secondary does need help, but if you can get a pass rush going,
I agree.
It just makes things so much easier.
You're right.
So I think that the Bengals, the Bears, those are the two teams that I feel like should be all over this, and they should be willing to trade their pick. Like, if you're the Bengals, would you trade the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence straight up?
No.
You wouldn't trade.
No. Dex is 30.
He's nearing 30, yes. I think right now he might be 29, but I don't know when he turns 30 exactly.
10 is high. And you can get, well, given recent reports, who knows? Ruben Bain is exactly what the Bengals are looking for. They need an edge rusher, athletic. That's kind of exactly where I envision them going. Yeah. So would I give up the 10 for him? I don't think I would.
I'm not. Personally, he's going to be turning 29. He's worth a first-round pick to me for sure.
Definitely.
But for Cincinnati, I would rather have the draft capital and the cap flexibility for a team that's notorious for penny pinching, not having enough cap maneuverability. So I would say no to that if I'm Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think the Giants, I mean, that getting the 10th pick and the 5th pick, I mean,
they'd be oh my God, they'd be lit.
It'd be an amazing move for them. I'm in the minority, I guess. Like, if I'm the Bengals, I would trade that. Like, give me Dexter Lawrence. Like, let's go. Let's try to make a run here. Like, I would.
You're just trying to do whatever it takes to get Joe Burrow talent as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, Trey Hendrickson, respect to him, I don't think he was worth top of the line market money. I think Dexter Lawrence is. Like, Dexter Lawrence impacts your pass rush and your run stopping ability. He impacts both. So I think that if the Bengals got him, you don't even have to worry about the defensive line at that point. Like, now you have Boye, you have Dexter Lawrence. You hope that Shamar can develop and be better next season. Like, the pieces are in place for Cincinnati to kind of take a big leap on their defensive line.
Go all the way back to 2021, 2020 flat. Every team that's won the Super Bowl has had an elite defensive tackle. And if not elite, a great one.
Exactly.
Every single one.
Like the 10th pick.
Jones, Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald.
Leonard Williams.
Yep.
Yep.
Name it. They've had an
was him
elite or
and Byron
great
Murphy. They
detail.
too.
Like they are.
Too.
Yep.
It is such a meaningful position on defensive side of the ball, especially those that can get after the quarterback. We know Dex can. It's just last year, it's just an unfortunate position for him where if it was the year before, I think he gets his bread easily. They don't even hesitate.
Oh, coming off the near 10 sacks.
He was amazing. This past season, it was unfortunate that he was just not Dexter.
Like, I think with the Bengals, the 10th overall pick, it's obviously valuable, but you're hoping Reuben Bain falls there. You're hoping David Bailey falls there. There's no defensive tackle worth taking at that spot.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at like Caleb Downs. And I think Caleb Downs is an incredible
I'd be
player.
excited for him.
But would I rather, like, if I could trade Caleb Downs straight up for Dexter Lawrence, I wouldn't hesitate.
Mhm.
Like, if that's the player that we're talking about, this is the ballpark, then I'm not thinking twice about it.
Because if I'm the Giants, Caleb Down also kind of fits, even though Tyler Nubin, Javon Holland, that's a pretty strong safety duo.
There's still some holes, some things you got to iron
Yeah,
out.
that's tough actually. Like maybe if Mansour dropped, that would be more intriguing if I was. I don't know. That's so hard to say. I think I wouldn't do it still.
Even then, like, the Giants would have the flexibility of they'd have the 5th pick, and then the 10th pick, they could maybe trade back with somebody and get more assets. So that trade, like, if
Giants,
If they want to take a
Giants could go
guard,
so
yeah,
many
sack
routes.
from 10 to
Exactly.
10.
Giants
could
could go
even-
so many routes.
they could even
do
take
that.
they could take guard with the
That
10th
too.
I
pick.
hope
They
they don't.
could
I
do
want
that.
to take the Penn State guard, and they would take him right before the Steelers.
Yeah, like
That'd be
they
real.
could do that. So I mean, I think Dexter Lawrence, I'm hoping he does get traded because I think that he'd be a needle mover for the Bengals, for the Bears. I'm not sure what other team would be in the sweepstakes for him. I know that there's some rumblings about maybe Green Bay Packers fans, but I mean, they just traded for Micah, bro. They're not going to get Dexter Lawrence. I mean, you're not about to
What do
get
you
both
think,
of those
Minnesota?
guys. Minnesota also moves the needle
Imagine.
tremendously.
That'd be
That'd
nuts.
be a big
Yeah.
deal.
like
That'd be
deal.
insane.
Yeah, it moves the needle tremendously for Minnesota. I mean, I don't think Brian Flores has he ever had a player as talented as Dexter Lawrence as an interior defensive lineman. In Miami, he had Christian Wilkins. In Pittsburgh, he had Cameron Hayward, but he wasn't the defensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never coached a player as good as Dexter Lawrence on the interior defensive line as a head coach or defensive
DC,
coordinator.
yeah.
So
He wasn't
I mean,
DC in New England.
yeah.
Vince Wilfork.
Vikings, Bears, Bengals, and it might just be the NFC North, those Vikings and Bears bidding against each other to go get Dexter, because that's a needle mover for both teams, like, without a doubt.
100%.
But we'll see how everything shapes out. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, and on Facebook at Pick a Side Podcast. Reminder, Blue 42 next week, April 23rd, for the draft. Make sure you get there early. If you have a group of 5 people, then you're able to RSVP and get a table. So if you have a big group, then do that. And also, we have our shirts released now. PickAsidePodcast.com, $35 t-shirt with shipping, $41. Thank you guys for supporting. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next time.